Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hungary and welcome to Trackwood. Welcome to Máriapócs. This is the Champions League of European Drifting. It is, of course, round 2 of the Drift Masters European Championship in one of the most crazy, high-speed and dangerous knife-edge circuits we've ever witnessed in European drifting. 20 nations represented in this championship, but right now we have whittled 60 drivers down to our top 16 for the main event. If you're new to drifting, we're going to explain to you exactly how the criteria works, and if you're not, it's a little refresher. Of course, these guys are going to be battling for the ultimate prize at the end of the year, the title of the true European champion. But right now, we're going to talk you guys through the criteria they're going to be up against with our judges for the rest of the evening. Of course, there's 3 judges going to be going through this criteria, and of course, drifting is a judge sport, something very unique if it's the first time you're watching. So here's how a tandem battle works. Battles are scored on lead car's line and chase car's proximity. Battles are scored on a 5-5 basis, so you'll hear the judges refer to a 9-1, 8-2, 7-3, 6-4, 5-5 advantage either way, in conjunction with comparing a lead to lead and chase to chase on their runs. There are no 5-minute rules, and there is a maximum of 1 more time per battle, after which the judges must make a decision. If the judges cannot come to a decision in the 1 more time battle, a decision can be based on both combined runs. In the event of 2 incomplete runs and 1 more time battle, judges will fall back to who qualified first. There are 2 possible initiation procedures: single file or side by side. Initiation, of course, meaning their initiation or the start of the drift into the first corner. In single file, the chase driver chooses to initiate behind the lead driver. In side by side, the chase driver chooses to initiate immediately beside the lead driver, within the full width of the chase vehicle lane. Now, the lead car, of course, each driver takes a chase and lead position, and after the 2 we decide on that. But the lead car must run the qualifying line, which is indicated by those clipping zones and the white boxes on the circuit, and must attempt to run a 100-point qualifying run. He must run a chaseable lead run, meaning the car behind him must be able to mirror him exactly, and must follow the acceleration and deceleration map. The chase driver, that's the car behind, he must initiate no later than the lead driver, maintain close proximity to the lead driver, match or better the lead driver's angle, and mimic the lead driver's transitions and line throughout the course. Hitting a cone does not necessarily constitute a points deduction. Drivers will score a 0 for spinning out, stopping drifting, 2 wheels off, prolonged straightening or understeer, an inactive chase, meaning there's a huge gap between the 2 cars, an illegal pass or overtake, getting legally passed or overtaken on the circuit, opposite drift, drifting with the opposite angle for that point of the course, or hood, hatch, trunk, or doors opening throughout a run. Straightening or understeer will result in points being deducted throughout the duration of the straighten or understeer, depending on the severity. And a 0 will also be scored for prolonged straightening or understeer. So that's the complicated criteria, but of course, I'm Dave Egan, and this is my good friend Ian Waddington. If you're new to drifting, we're going to talk you through all of those nuances, all of that technicality, and let you know how things are going throughout the runs. It's an exciting sport. It's pretty hair-raising. If you've never seen it before, it's pretty damn spectacular. But we're going to show you, due to our beautiful technology of the modern era, exactly what all that little spiel that I've just given you means. It means that we're going to see cars going door to door, wheel to wheel, and putting out plenty of smoke, doing transitions and power sliding throughout the course. But we're going to show you that in virtual representation and show you guys a little bit about what the perfect lead and chase run looks like. So as you can see, the guys come off the start line through a chicane to slow down the lead driver, and then it is an initiation or starting the drift in this large full throttle outer zone. Those white boxes on the ground, well, they're those outer zones. Here's an inner one and another outer on a banked corner, full throttle. The chase driver trying to get as close as possible, and the lead driver trying to run that perfect line through those outer boxes on the course. In this course, it's all about 4th and 3rd gear, full throttle, and Ian, it is one of the most dangerous courses I've ever had even witnessed in my life. We've seen cars crushed, crashed, and decimated in the top 32, and we've seen some heroes come through the flames too.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen some of the best drivers throughout Europe getting knocked out in top 32, but Dave, it looks like we have got our top 16 drivers ready to put on a parade for everybody here at Máriapócs in Hungary, and these guys, you know what, doing a very, very good job. So we're going to head down to the track where we've got our top 16 parade ready to get underway.
Absolutely, and of course they are the best of the best in Europe right now. 60 drivers, 20 nations have been gone through qualifying session yesterday, top 32 battles, and right now, as you can see, on the first initiation truck, Conor Shanahan, he won round 1. He is just 15 years of age from Ireland. He beat the world champion in the biggest upset in world drifting at round 1 of the championship, but he's out on the back of the truck with our beautiful Trackwood girls, because his car is currently being repaired in the paddock because, well, essentially, it has been hit very hard in the top 32 battle. So he is getting that car repaired to try and be ready for his battle as the rest of our grid rolls out on the track.
Yeah, you can see James Dean closely followed by Enver Haskasap. Those guys going to go to battle in just 2 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to get a closer look at the cars as they roll around in front of the crowd. If you're here in Hungary in attendance, we want to thank you guys for coming out to support the fastest growing motorsport in the world. If you're joining us in from online, well, it's about to go down in Hungary at the Drift Masters European Championship. We want you to smash that share button at the bottom of your screen. Let's push this out to the world. If your country is represented, let us know where you're watching from. Let us know if you're enjoying the action. We want to keep it interactive for the rest of the show. And these 16 guys, believe me, Ian, want this more than anything on earth.
Yeah, listen, these 16 guys have pushed harder than anybody else, and this is a very fast circuit. There's a tight technical section where they come off of the outer zone 2 into a front clip, and it shoots them across the track onto an outer zone 3. That's the tightest technical part of the track. Everything else is very fast and flowing.
It is.
And high speed, dangerous track.
That's what it's all about. Connor Shannon waving to the fans. He is coming in as the highest ranked driver at the moment. Behind him in the Worth House Falcon Tire S14, James Dean from Ireland, the current Formula Drift champion. Enver Haskasap behind him. He is representing Cyprus.
Yeah, closely followed by Yanis Inglite, followed by your 2017 Drift Masters current champion, Adam Zalewski.
Yeah, next up, Paweł Barkowski, another Polish driver making big names for himself. He's followed there by Benediktas Chirba from Poland, from Latvia rather. Next up we have a Polish driver, that old school Mercedes. It is Kajetan Rutina. Another Polish driver with a crate motor V8 under his E30 is Grzegorz Hipki. From Poland, representing Germany, one of the Red Bull Drift brothers is Eli Hutonji in his E30, also running a V8. Representing Lithuania, it is going to be Andrius Vasiliauskas, E92, 900 horsepower. Representing Finland, we have Jutta Poitalasko, another Polish driver in Korpelinski, qualifying third yesterday into the top 16.
Yeah, closely followed by Ivo Cirulis.
Yeah, from Latvia, and then it is the 1100 horsepower car of Bartosz Stolarski from Poland also. And he is followed by the last driver to enter our top 16 parade, Jack Shanahan, who will also join his brother in the top 16 in the Link Engine Management Tri-Ace S14. 16 drivers go to war. This is the main event. This is what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, listen, these guys are going to push harder than they've ever pushed before. They have just had a grueling top 32 competition. These guys push door on door. We've seen big crashes. We've seen one more times. These guys are not giving each other an inch. And you know what, Dave? Top 16 is going to get hot.
It's going to be insane. We've got so many nationalities, so much talent, so many guys that believe deep down in their soul that they are the best in Europe. And the only way they can prove that is by winning events like this. We've come here to Hungary. This setting is incredible. It is in the middle of a forest, in the middle of, I'm going to say it nowhere, but it's created this community. It's created this atmosphere. It's created these people come here to watch this. And if you're watching on, can we get some noise? Hungary, make some noise!
They're warming up, they're warming up.
They're warming up. So, the time for talk is over. The anticipation is building, the tension is building. We're about to send cars at over 70 miles an hour sideways, door to door, and the first battle, well, it's a cracker. James Dean, the current pound for pound best in the world, current Formula Drift champion, 5-time European champion, 5-time Irish champion, Guinness Book of World Records holder, goes up against the new kid on the block, Enver Haskasap. Well, he's been training night and day for 6 months to come back as strong as he can, and right now he looks like he could be in serious contention.
Yeah, listen, for me, I'm going to put this out there. James Dean doesn't look in the best condition, and Enver Haskasap looks like he is hungry. James Dean right now, as you can see, warming up the tyres on the back end of that Falcon Tire Worth House S14. And Enver Haskasap, for me, it looks like he could take James Dean down. If James Dean puts 1 foot wrong, Enver Haskasap is going to be there to make sure that he puts the nail in the coffin. So,
well, I mean, for Enver Haskasap, what a moment. It's like stepping into the ring with Floyd Mayweather here and saying, nobody knows who I am. If I take one lucky punch here, everybody in the whole drift world is going to know who I am at the end of the next 3 minutes. Well, that's worth taking a chance on, Ian. That's worth pushing harder than you've ever had before. Look at him warming himself up in the car. Thumbs up to James Dean. James Dean will lead in the first battle. Then we'll switch him around after the first. And we're about to show you how crazy this track is. Through the gears they go, up to fourth gear, 70 mile an hour, and throwing it in sideways. James Dean to lead in Enver Haskasap.
Yes, Haskasap fires it in on the door. Oh, big contact. Enver Haskasap.
Oh, gets in the wall.
Haskasap takes it to the wall, almost pushes James Dean into the wall with him, as James Dean, the machine, Mr. Flawless, takes it all the way around and across the line.
Well, you know what? We said it, Ian. We said it. You got to push.
We said it was dangerous. We said it was dangerous. We said you had to push 110%, and Enver Haskasap takes it to the wall.
He saw his name in lights there, Ian. He said,
look at this big initiation.
At the initiation from Enver Haskasap, throws it in on the door, but at this point he knows I'm in there a little too fast. He tags James Dean. James Dean thinks he's going in the wall, puts the foot down, has to drive out of this one, and look at this, pushes him again. James Dean on four-wheel lockup and still manages to hold it as Enver Haskasap slams into the wall, decimating the front and rear end of that car. Incredible commitment, and that's what it's about, Ian. It's not just about drift ability, it's about commitment. These guys putting their lives on the line, never mind their cars at 70 miles an hour to get into the main show, and right now Enver Haskasap's taking a big hit on circuit.
Yeah, that car doesn't look good at all, and you know what, new rules in this championship, no more 5-minute rules, so Enver Haskasap doesn't even have the opportunity to go and fix this car, and you know what, Dave, I'm going to put it out there, doesn't look like it could be in a fixable position.
No, and Enver Haskasap just not happy there at the moment. Look, you got to do it. It's against the world champion.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if it was boxing, you wouldn't get in the ring with Floyd Mayweather and then just put your hands up and back away. You've got to go in there and put a fight to him. That's what he's done. He's made a mistake. At this level, it can be just the slightest over-aggressive move. It can just be a slight touch of the throttle or clutch in the wrong place, and you end up with your car looking essentially like a banana, which is what Enver Haskasap does at the moment. But you know what? After such a phenomenal weekend, he had to throw it in, and I suppose that pressure that James Dean brings, that anticipation that he brings, I mean, we're going to get another look at this and see just how severe it was. How James Dean keeps this out of the wall, I have no idea.
And look at the heat that Enver Haskasap brings. Look at this, tags the back end of James Dean's car, pushes him round, starts to make James Dean over-rotate. Both guys still accelerating towards the wall. James Dean dials out the angle. Look at that front wheel straight, jumps on the foot brake, tries to drive himself away, but Enver Haskasap, nowhere to go. He's already in the wall.
That was incredible. Look at James Dean. He actually dialed off the angle, went on off throttle, saved his car, saved himself as Enver Haskasap went into the wall. And it's just split-second timing, it's split-second moments. It's just, for me, it's incredible to watch from any motorsport vantage point or even just entertainment vantage point. You've got to love the fact that these guys are pushing beyond their limits. It's not just about comfortable getting some laps in. It's not like a normal motor race where people are pretty confident they're going to get around there and they're just in the race, you know, doing lap after lap, the strategy. This is like, I've got 3-5 seconds to make a decision. If it's the wrong one, that's my car.
I'm in the wall. Yeah, exactly. And it's the end of the weekend and there's no coming back from it. So unfortunately, that is the end of the weekend there for Enver Haskasap. And James Dean, you know, we'll make it official in a minute, will advance through to the Great 8.
Yeah, and you know what? At the moment, James Dean will take that one. He knew Enver Haskasap was coming in here hot. He knew he was coming in here with a lot of experience in the bank of testing in the off-season. And to be honest, Enver Haskasap did go for it there. Unfortunately, though, I think with his car irreparably damaged, he is not going to make it through to the next stage of the competition. And we will make it official from our judges, which will, I'm sure, slide it all right for James Dean, rather. James Dean, the current Formula Drift champion, 5-time European champion. Business as usual goes through to our top 8. Not the way he would have wanted it, but he'll take it on a day like today where he wasn't feeling so comfortable on the track.
Yeah, exactly. Like he said, he even said it himself. He didn't feel super confident in the car himself. And you know what? It seems like James Dean's getting the wish. And unfortunately, Enver Haskasap not getting the result he wanted this weekend.
No, and as you can see, James Dean Yeah, so we're just saying that the Starline Marshal just saying to James wants to take a moment. He said he was actually physically scared on that one. He thought he was going in the wall heavy. He thought he was going to be pushed into the wall. He wants to take a moment just to chill out. He said that was one of the scariest experiences he's had behind the wheel. He said, I had absolutely no control whatsoever. He said I was being pushed towards the wall. He said it was unlikely that he would get away with it. That's what he just said to the Starline Marshal. He said he's just a bit shook up. So James Dean going to take a moment, roll back into the pits, get out of the car and relax a little bit. He just said himself he was physically scared for a moment there. He thought there was going to be a big impact. Yeah,
I mean, listen, the speeds these guys are traveling, and when you're getting pushed by someone in a 1,000 horsepower S14, No wonder James Dean was scared. He was going towards that wall at some pace, and we see how bad it was as Enver Heskasap's car is absolutely in ribbons right now. James Dean makes his way off circuit back to the pits. That guy's going to take a step out of the car and think,
yeah,
wow.
And you think, you know, he's been in these situations before. He's the world champion, but at the end of the day, he said the problem he had with that one was he wasn't in control of his car. He was getting pushed into the wall. So next up, we go to another huge battle. Yanis Iglite, who is one of the most decorated drivers in European drifting, goes up against the current Drift Masters European champion at just 18 years of age, Adam Zalewski.
Yeah, listen, Zalewski not having the best starts of the season so far, breaking multiple drive shafts at round 1 in Płock in Poland. And listen, he's come back to this round, and this guy is bringing the fight this weekend. He said he's not messing around. You can see him in the car, young, confident Adam Zalewski, the champion, Dave.
Well, we call it the Champions League in because that's what we've got here. Two champions. The current European champion sits in the Zestino Tires E30. It is Adam Zalewski. He goes up against the Eastern European champion, Yanis Iglite, in the Tri-Ace Tires BMW. Both of these guys running mega horsepower. Zalewski running up to 800 horsepower. Iglite with 800 horsepower, 1,600 horsepower on the line. And they're ready to shred tires and go close. And I think everybody here in attendance is starting to feel a little nervous about these guys now.
Yeah, listen, these guys are pushing hard, and we said they were going to go hard and fast, and here they come off the line. It will be Iglite to lead in Zalewski, and Zalewski's on the back bumper of Iglite's E46, and look at this. The champs, the heavyweight champs of Europe, going door to door as they push each other around this fast-flowing circuit. They start to get in the tight section now as Iglite stands on it. But Zalewski not putting the...
Oh! Zalewski goes to the door across the line, and that was an epic run from both of these guys, putting it all out there on the track. Look at the initiation from Zalewski. He leaves no room for error. Iglite slamming the front brake, getting to the wall, and Zalewski making huge dives into that outer zone too. Iglite not going quite as wide to the wall as they would have liked, but look at this, almost brushing the tires, and Zalewski full throttle transition to get back on the door. Incredible stuff. Zalewski trying to get himself back into the championship race, but he's done a hell of a job there.
Yeah, I mean, incredible chase driving there from Adam Zalewski, and the best opportunity he could put on was in that position to gain as many points in that half of the battle as he could. It looks like we got those guys back on the start line and ready to go, as Adam Zalewski now will lead out Yanis Iglite. And Yanis Iglite is going to be on the radio to his spotters saying, tell me what happened. How close was he? I mean,
yeah, you don't
he
want to know.
was there. He
you
was
don't want
right
to know.
there.
So now Yanis Iglite, the Eastern European champion, is going to be asked a question. Well, can you take down this 18-year-old hotshot from Poland? Well, the question has to be answered in about 8 seconds' time as Iglite powers through the gears and equally fires it in behind Zalewski, but brushes very wide. Iglite on a very wide line here as they transition and not getting that proximity in.
No, not getting that proximity, but Iglite stands on the accelerator now, starts to gain some distance on the door of the 18-year-old E30, but you know what, for me, Zalewski looking strong as they come over the line.
Incredible run from both drivers. Iglite, did you see that transition towards the end? He almost brushed the front of his car off the wall, which was at over 70 miles an hour. Look at this as they come in. Look at the angle Iglite pulls in the chase position, puts it on big lock and stays in it. Zalewski just touching that outer zone, but it's here where the transition of Iglite is so late. He almost clips the inside of the curb or the tires, and that would have been a write-off straight away. That's how knife-edge it is, Ian. What a battle.
Yeah, unbelievable, breathtaking stuff. Very, very fast. And judges just looking for another replay, Dave, just saying that they want to see a little clip there, but no, seen enough maybe, and it looks like they have come to their decision.
As we bring it down, you can see Zalewski waving to the fans, Iglite waving to the fans.
Who's going to take it through to the top 8? Will it be Adam Zalewski? Will it be Yanis Iglite? Well,
do you know what? It's a tight one. I would like to call this one. Two incredible runs from two champions, but only one can make it to the top 8. Will it go left for Adam Zalewski from Poland? Will it go right for Yanis Iglite? And it will go left for Adam Zalewski. Gets the win. Adam Zalewski gets the win and goes through to our top 8. Throwing it quickly back to our judges. Talk us through that one. A tough decision.
Yeah, that was a tough decision, but it really all comes down to Adam's sheer aggression on the first run. Yanis had a great lead run, but Adam was all over him throughout. And unfortunately, Iglite not being able to match that aggression on the second run. So all comes down to proximity there and Adam getting the win overall.
So Adam Zalewski goes through to our top 8. We keep moving along. Next up on the line,
Yeah, next up on the line, we do have Paweł Borkowski to take on Benediktas Czerba. This one going to be another battle of heavyweights. Paweł Borkowski, your guy, Dave, been looking strong all weekend, very consistent, very, very clinical with his runs. But Benediktas Czerba looking fast. Like I said, the guy had the line dialed straight away yesterday morning.
He started practice yesterday looking like he wanted the podium. He still looks like he wants the podium. Borkowski had a mechanical failure at the last round. He was looking so strong at round 1 in Poland, and a drive shaft failure cost him in the warm-up. So here we go. Borkowski to lead out Czerba. Here we go as they come through the gears into that first corner, and a faint entry from Borkowski. Czerba coming in pretty late here. He's got work to do.
Yeah, Czerba left it a little bit late, almost took the back bumper off of Paweł's car there now as they transition into the outer zone. Benediktas not looking strong. He's fallen way offline, and Paweł Borkowski looks unstoppable in that lead position. So much pace that Benediktas Czerba just couldn't keep up.
Could not keep up whatsoever. And of course, you look at some of these runs and you see how fast those guys are when they're in top 32. Switching back to going into the rear position against Borkowski, and Borkowski just upped and went.
Yeah, I mean, look at this, Benediktas Czerba, I mean, had a fight on his hands from the get-go, we knew that, but look at this. Paweł Borkowski stands on the accelerator and starts to drive away, and Benediktas Czerba just cannot do anything about it. So,
well, look, it's got to switch around. The pace won't matter as much here. Borkowski will know he's got the pace on Czerba here, but at the same time, Ian, he has been overly aggressive in the past. He's made contact in the past. He has been trying to hold himself back in the past. Now he's got to be clever. He's got the advantage, but will he still hold it at the end of this run? Czerba will be in the lead position. He hasn't put a foot wrong very, very rarely in this whole competition. This one is going to go down to the wire.
Yeah, this is going to go to the wire for sure as Benediktas Czerba now comes off the line to lead in Paweł Borkowski, as Borkowski doesn't give Czerba an inch. Look at this, Paweł Borkowski's got the pace. Unbelievable transition from Borkowski. Almost made contact with the E46 of Czerba as they come through the inner clip.
But look at Borkowski, he's right there behind Czerba, and a late transition at over 65 miles an hour keeps him in the game as Czerba runs a very shallow line across that last section. Borkowski super aggressive from the off.
Unbelievable, yeah, from the off. Look at this on the initiation. Benediktas Czerba fires that car and Borkowski takes the right opportunity to initiate, gets that car nice and close. Benediktas Czerba drops offline though, doesn't get that first outer zone and struggles to get to the second outer zone, but Borkowski is all over the side of that E46 BMW of Benediktas Czerba.
And as there are a few drops of rain falling here, Ian, around us, I'm starting to feel it like it's going to be an interesting night. Wipers on for both of these guys as they come down. This could tell the story.
Yeah, I mean, listen, changing weather conditions is not what we was looking for, but the decision is in. Who's going to take it through to the top 8?
Yeah, let's drop him in. Benediktas Czerba or Paweł Borkowski, who's going to go through, and there you have it. The winner, Paweł Borkowski, gets the win and goes through to the top 8, goes through the top 8. Incredible stuff from him. Quickly over to our judges to talk us through it.
Yeah, Paweł took 4 runs there. He took it in the lead position with a great lead run, and Benediktas didn't have proximity and he was off his own 3. And again, great proximity in the second run, so clear run.
They have it, Lithuania eliminated by Poland. Oh, it's just getting more and more interesting as we go in.
Yeah, and it doesn't stop there. This is the next battle coming up to the line is an all-heavyweight Polish battle. It will be Kajetan Rutyna to take on Grzegorz Hipki.
Now these guys have seen battle before, years and
time
years of
on
it.
time, yeah.
But now it matters. This is the championship which is deciding that true European champions. So if you've got to go through your own countrymen to get there, well, that's what you got to do.
Exactly, and Grzegorz Hipki is the man to beat. Taking down Steve Bagsy Biagioni in top 32. Kajetan Rutyna, though, now might be in his element. A little bit of rain on the circuit making it ever so slippery. This guy's struggling for power.
It's going to get slippy fast here. The conditions are going to get very treacherous. We can see some incidents here as the lights shine bright for Kajetan Rutyna. Look how slippy it is, Ian. No, oh, Kajetan's going in heavy. Hipki goes in even heavier. It all fell apart on initiation there. All that rubber laid down in those top 32 and top 16 miles. Now these guys are on an ice rink.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is not going to be an easy one for the judges to judge in this first half of the battle. As you can hear, Kajetan Rutyna just tickling the accelerator of that V8 Mercedes.
I mean, it didn't even look like it rained there, and all of a sudden the track is completely wet. What happened?
I mean, I don't even think it's raining now. It's, just ever so slightly raining now. I mean, look at this. Both those guys throw them cars in, and you can just see passengers straight away as Grzegorz Hipki stands on the foot brake to try and keep that car out of the wall, and does a very, very good job of avoiding any contact.
I mean, it's almost unlikely that both of these guys would get out of that corner without any damage done and still complete the run. Incredible car control, incredible resolve.
Yeah, exactly. So as we get those guys back to the line now, both of those will be, I mean, listen.
I mean, what confidence have you
What
now?
way does it go, though, really? How have the judges looked at it? Do they say, you know what, even though it was a bad initiation, really, for Kajetan Rutina, he managed to pull off a run.
You can see that Rutina
Yeah.
had signaled to Hipke saying, what do we do now?
What do we do?
What do
Yeah.
we do? There's
How
no grip, there's nothing out there. He's saying that it's impossible to drive. Both these guys are throwing their pride and joys into the first corner with no confidence at over 65 miles an hour. Anything can happen here now.
Yeah, look at this, though. But Grzegorz Hipke looks like he's found some grip as Kajetan Rutina now starts to put it on the door of the LSX E30. Grzegorz Hipke stands on the accelerator.
Oh, contact.
Rutina pushing. Grzegorz Hipke, and
Rutina
shuts it down.
I'm not sure what is going on in this battle after some sensational door-to-door encounters. Now the drama ramps up again because they have no grip out there whatsoever.
No, look at this. Grzegorz Hipke fires that car in. Kajetan doing a very, very good job of staying with him in tricky weather conditions. You can see the car's no tyre smoke whatsoever. And as Grzegorz Hipke stands on it, a little tag there on the front wheel. I think it just maybe knocked the steering out of the hands of Kajetan Rutina, and he just couldn't get it back again.
That could have been it. Obviously, it affected his steering.
Yeah.
It looked like he couldn't steer the car back the other direction. It might just be enough.
So,
yeah, we're
as
just hearing
you
that
see-
Conor Shanahan is on the clock for it, seeing if he's ready for his battle. We'll get back to that in a moment, but it's not looking great for Conor Shanahan at the moment. But we have to have a look at the decision between Kajetan Rutina and Grzegorz Hipke of who is going to go through to the top 8. What a crazy battle. Someone's going to walk away with it. Who's it going to be? Slide him left for Hipke, right for Rutina. It is Grzegorz Hipke that goes through to the top 8. Impressive stuff, but guys, I got to talk through the judges on this one because conditions have just changed an awful lot.
Yeah, the conditions really changed, and it's visible on the driving of the drivers. And in the first run, Kajetan was really too out. He slowed down a lot, and we needed to call unchaseable run. So it was big advantage for Hipke. And in second run, Kajetan just shut down the drifting, and again, big advantage for Hipke. So that's why he went through.
So there you go.
We've just heard from the pits that Conor Shanahan was almost seconds from being eliminated from this competition. There is 20-something people under that car in the pits trying to get that ready and get it back out here. Conor Shanahan, with seconds to spare, drops the car on the ground and then starts to push it out of the pits. He is up against Eli Hutunji in the top 16. Incredible stuff happening here in Hungary.
I mean, listen, Conor Shanahan took that car to the door of Ken Egtved's car. Big collision, front and rear. They've changed quite a lot of suspension components. And Conor Shanahan now has not got an easy battle on his hands. Eli Hutunji has been looking strong run after run, sorry. And listen, Conor Shanahan maybe not feeling himself right now after that big collision.
Well, I'll put it this way. We've just heard word from the pits that Conor Shanahan's car has been, and I quote, thrown together to get it back out onto the track. Not a whole lot of alignment done, just thrown back to get him back out and get some championship points. He's going to be up against it, the winner of round 1 in Poland. He's only 15 years of age. He is now under pressure. You can see Eli Hutunji warming his tires on the line as Conor Shanahan is just awaiting to go down to the start line. Oh, I mean, the drama here alone, Ian, is enough. The driving has been up and down. We've had crashes, we've had spins, we've had changing conditions. I can't tell if that track is wet or dry. I can't tell whatever is going on.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we just don't even know what's going on at the moment. Like you say, is it wet? Is it dry? Is it patchy?
Well,
is
now
it the
both
worst
of these guys,
situation?
Ian, both of these guys are going in there knowing
Blind, yeah.
absolutely nothing. They know nothing about the conditions. They know nothing about the grip levels. Conor Shannon's going in with a car that has just had 2 rear suspension points put on, just thrown on together to get it back on the track. Eli Hutunji doesn't know what the conditions are going to be like to chase Conor Shanahan here. This is just, not only is, I mean, we might see some scrappy stuff here. You can even see how bad Conor Shanahan's car is. It's been repaired. The headlight is falling apart. Everything is just in bits. It is just knife edge because you can see the rain starting to fall on the windscreen of those cars now. They have no grip on the start line. So we've heard from the pits that it was actually the Red Bull Drift brothers Hutunji team that actually helped to get Conor Shanahan's car out onto the grid. That's what it's all about here at Drift Masters. And here we go, Conor Shanahan to lead in Eli Hutunji.
Hutunji not giving Shanahan an inch, but Shanahan's car, big problems with Shanahan's car, fires it in.
Shanahan's got a problem. Shanahan has a big problem. Eli Hutunji lays back here. Shanahan cannot get around this circuit.
No, Shanahan can't get around the circuit at all, Dave. Like you say, as Eli Hutunji does everything he can to try and put in some sort of chaseable run behind. But
he had to stay back, Ian. He had to stay back. There was an unpredictable run ahead of him from Conor Shanahan. He stayed back, and as we heard, the Red Bull Drift Brothers team helping to even get Conor Shanahan back on the grid. But watch this, not what you want to see. Straight in through the first corner, looked like he was wildly out of control.
Yeah, it didn't look like the usual Conor Shanahan that we see, and like you say, initiation was very, very low on the bank, cut the circuit massively.
And look at the steering on the front of Conor Shanahan's car. It's just completely jerking through the motions, which means that obviously that car looks impossible to drive. And now he's got to chase in somebody, and he's not confident in the car. I mean, there's nothing he can do here. I think this is done and dusted.
Yeah, I mean, listen, nobody wants to go out like this due to technical failure, but I think Conor Shanahan right now is hanging in the balance. Can he make it through? One more run to go.
I think it's a push too far. With a car that's not working correctly, Eli Hutunji here has just got to put in a run. Conor Shanahan's on a massive disadvantage. Let's see what happens as they throw it in. Conor's going to give it a go, though.
He's going to give it a go, and he does. He tries to send it on the door of Eli Hutunji's BMW. As Conor Shanahan now, look at this, starts to make an attack. Oh, no, and he over-rotates.
It's a spin for Conor Shanahan as the rain starts to fall a little bit heavier here in Hungary. And Eli Hutunji, after trying to help Conor Shanahan to get back out on track, unfortunately could not get that car repaired in time. And our current championship leader will, I would imagine, leave the competition in the top 16. The drama. That is the person who finished first, third, and fourth at round one, now eliminated in the competition. You talk about a challenge, you talk about a Champions League, well, that's how unpredictable this championship is. And Conor, you got to give it to him. A brave performance to try and get in the fight, but you can see.
Look at the rain as well, the rain falling down, a slipperiest part of the circuit there. And listen, I mean, not an easy task for Conor Shanahan, and Eli Hutunji there takes it over the line. We are going to make it official. We're going to get that graphic up on the screen and the score from our judges.
Yeah, I think that's going to be nail in the coffin. I mean, our championship leader eliminated at the top 16. It's insane.
Karkoshik gone.
And again, do you know what? When I say eliminated, not probably his own fault, but
no.
Eli Hutunji's got the job done and marched through to the top 8. And there you have it. It is Eli Hutunji moving on. The German Red Bull drifter moves on to the top 8, and we've got a stacked top 8, and Conor Shanahan will wave to his fans, Ian. It's a disappointing day.
Yeah, it's a very, very disappointing day for the young guy, and you know what, all I can assure you is that when we head to Riga in a few weeks' time, that guy is going to be back on form, and he's going to be looking to hunt down those points again.
Well, you know, a top 16 finish with second place qualifying points on the board for Conor Shanahan, but Eli Hutunji now is starting to make that move.
Yeah, exactly.
He's starting to feel it. He's getting close to it. One more battle and he's into the top 4 and 2 shots at the podium, and that's what he's going to be thinking about right now. And look at this for a huge, huge battle. These guys have seen battle all last year in Drift GP, and here they bring the fight to Drift Masters European Championship. Andreas Vasiliauskas and Juha Poitalaxko, no shortage of horsepower here. 1,700, in fact, heading to the line.
Wow, 1,700 horsepower as we see Andreas Vasiliauskas in that Turbo Systems E92 BMW take on the 4 Series fronted of Juha Poitalaxko.
It's going to be Finland versus Lithuania as they come off the line in damp to wet conditions here. Unpredictable. These guys haven't had a run in these conditions, and already there's some fireworks.
Yeah, already Juha Poitalaxko nearly took the back end off of Vasiliauskas' car. Vasiliauskas, though, look at that transition. Unbelievable car control from Andreas Vasiliauskas attacking the wall.
And he looks like he's gone. And Vasiliauskas spins out in front of Juha Poitalaxko. And Juha, I'm thinking he's counted as lucky stars there, because once it unsettled him, it took Vasiliauskas tagged the wall, it took him offline, he went onto the marbles, and there was marbles of tires, obviously, that had been laid down by all the other cars in the dry, and there's no grip there whatsoever, and you can see him spin out. I mean,
and do you know what,
I wouldn't
for
even
me-
want to drive out there right now.
No, it looked very, very sketchy weather conditions. But you know what, for me, Vasiliauskas' run was looking unbelievable at the initiation, the transition, and even the depth onto the wall. But it just gets in it too early. And look at that, the tag on the wall puts him into a spin. And Juha Poitalaxco right now is sitting with a 10-0 advantage as the rain now starts to fall down even heavier here at Máriapócs in Hungary. So we get those guys back to the line and turned around, and right now,
Well, what it
I
looks
mean,
like to me, I was just having a quick look out of our commentary tower here. It looks like this will be a shower. This
Yeah.
is going to be a bit of rain, and I think after that it's going to dry up again. So we are not going to have a consistent surface here until the final. It's going to be wet right now. It'll probably dry as it goes along. It dries very quickly here with the bank surface and the heat that's in the air and the humidity that's here. But we got to get these guys back out there again. 10-0 advantage, I would imagine. Do you have Poitalaxco on the first run? But now Vasiliauskas is still coming in hot.
yeah, he's coming in very, very hot, Dave. He needs to force an error on Juha Poitalaxco right now. And look at this from Andreas Vasiliauskas, sorry. Sticks the car in the back bumper, but look at the rain beating down on the circuit here in Hungary. And Juha Poitalaxco just about holds it on these cars, crawling around the circuit. Now the speed cut in half. Oh, as Vasiliauskas almost takes the back end of the guy pushing Juha Poitalaxco across the finish line.
There's not much more he could have done. Not much more he could have done to try and turn that back around in his favor. The spin on the first run, he knew it, everybody knew it. He had to do something sensational. How are they controlling these cars in these conditions that close to each other is insane.
Look at this from Vasiliauskas. I mean, crazy transition, but it's when they transition onto the final turn for me that Vasiliauskas really comes alive. Look at this, keeps his distance, gets on a nice line. Juha Poitalaxco puts down a perfect lead run. The transition is crazy.
He's almost in the wall.
And then look at this, door on door and tagging the side of Juha Poitalaxco's car. Just insane stuff.
Well, I think now, you know, we've gone past patchy conditions. We've gone to full wet conditions right now. Rain coming down here in Máriapócs at the Trackwood circuit, and I think every driver on the grid has got back in to change to that wet setup to get that grip as much as possible. They're dropping their tire pressures to down as low as 6-7 psi to try and get that huge surface patch. But right now we got a decision on the board. Is it going to be the obvious one? It is indeed. Juha Poitalaxco gets the win and goes through to the top 8, and the Finnish driver goes through to the top 8. Impressive stuff from him. An obvious one from the judges. The spin from Andreas Vasiliauskas. Not much you can really do about that. And as the rain heavily falls, heavier than we've seen in the last 2 days, Ian.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is the heaviest shower we've seen in 2 days, and absolutely beaten down now on this circuit here at Trackwood. You can see how wet the circuit is. These guys, though, their spirit's not dampened, Dave. They're still out cheering on their favourite drivers. So we're just going to get those guys off circuit, and it looks like we are ready to move on to our next battle of the day, which will be...
Yeah, as I said just a minute, we're hearing from our track team. I just said having a little assessment here. There's a lot of rain coming down at the moment. So we're going to take a little small break while the rain continues to fall, where our track marshals prepare for these conditions. And I mean, really, Ian, did we expect anything more from the Drift Masters European Championship than rain, snow, hail, fire, crashes? We've had it all.
Yeah.
Again, we've had it all. And for me, that's what this championship brings. It brings that element of unpredictability between the weather, between the nations that are competing, but the styles of driving. We've seen it all. And I think for me, looking at that top 8 that's starting to roll in, it's now starting to show, from my perspective, that anyone can win this. Anybody can get out there on the right day through difficult conditions, stay in it, and make it happen. And you know what? As I said, out of the top 4 at round 1, 3 of them are now eliminated. It's anyone's game from here.
I mean, listen, and the track now is practically flooded. I mean, so you talk about changing weather conditions, and you talk about making it difficult. Well, listen, you wanted the best championship in Europe. Here it is, and we're making this hard work for everybody.
Let's have a talk about that championship, though. It might be coming to a country near you. You might want to be booking those flights to come out and check out the best drifters in Europe. Here's the dates of the championship this year. We're going to talk you through them. We started in Poland, in Płock, with a record attendance and an insane event on the 9th of June. We're here in Hungary, in Trackwood circuit. on the 23rd of June. And then we move to Latvia, the party central of European drifting, on the 4th of August. Then we go back. We're tarmacking a full football stadium for one weekend at the Motor Arena Torun on the 18th of August. Then we head to the Formula One circuit in Hockenheimring in Germany on the 8th of September. And we're finishing in Ireland in Mondello Park with the biggest car event of the year in Ireland on the 23rd of September. Don't miss one. Don't just watch it at home. Come down and check it out. So we are going to take a momentary break while we wait for our track to just, settle a little bit. I'm going to get some scuba gear. He's going to get his boat. I'll be back in a few moments' time live here from Máriapócs for round 2 of the Drift Masters European Championship. Okay, so before we get back to the action here, of course, if it's raining this heavily, you're going to want to talk to the man that's closest to the clouds. So we have Eddie Power in the pits with James Dean.
Yes, he's a lot closer to the clouds than I am for sure. James, you're true to the top 8, but the weather conditions here have just taken a turn for the worse. A massive storm. Talk us through how it's going to be for the rest of the competition now.
Well, one thing's for sure, I don't think we have to worry about wet and dry conditions anymore. There's no drying this. This is some crazy rain and it's going to be tricky. I think there's going to be floods on the track. Luckily, we made it into top 8. Our first battle was intense. While I was leading, the chase car hit me just an injury, and I thought it was all over. I thought we were going into the wall, but we luckily managed to save it. Unfortunately for him, he managed to crash into the wall behind me. So not the way you want to move on, but we're very lucky that we didn't finish it all there. But no, it's going to be a completely different challenge in the wet. Let's hope the show gets on the road pretty soon. And of course, you have your 2 closest rivals out of the competition now, so essentially bonus time for you if you can manage to get yourself into a Final 4. Certainly a very promising position for the remainder of the championship. Yeah, well, it's unlucky for Connor in his crash in top 32. Simply his car wasn't right for his top 16 battle, and everyone tried really hard to get him back on track, and they did get him back on track. But definitely not the battle that he would have wanted, and I would rather if the top contenders were still in the championship. But it's anyone's game. It's wet. It's going to be tricky. It's like a night in Vegas. I think it's going to be a lucky one for whoever takes it here tonight. You're coming up against Zalewski in the the grade 8 rather. He was looking like he was on really strong form, but as you say, with these conditions, it's just anybody's game now. Yeah, Adam is a great driver, last year's champion, and I know he's hungry because he had car troubles too at the first round, so he definitely wants to push 110%, and we're both going to have to give it everything and just hope for the best. Well, it's certainly going to be interesting out there. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us, James. Pleasure, thank you.
Thanks, Eddie, and of course the rain continuing to fall here, and we're going to take a momentary break while we try and reset some of the track conditions here. Of course, all of our marshals, including ourselves and our audio team and live stream team, was pretty much not expecting this torrential downpour. So we're just going to rehash some things. We're going to get some stuff ready. We're going to pretty much cover everything over, and we're going to continue very shortly with the rest of the action here at round 2 of the Drift Masters European Championship. And you don't want to go anywhere. I'll tell you why, Ian, because anything can happen from here. So as the rain starts to fall again here in Máriapócs, this is a extreme thunderstorm right now, Ian. We had sunshine at the start of the top 32. Now we are in full wet conditions. Of course, our marshals are out inspecting the track, seeing if it is drivable. We have severe flooding on the circuit, and of course, not wanting to risk the driver's safety on such a dangerous track, they're out there making sure that everything is a-okay.
Yeah, I mean, listen, driver safety is the most important thing right now, and our track staff safety as well. And listen,
and our safety too, Ian.
And you're wet, Dave, and I'm cold, but listen, we've already seen a couple of drivers go into that wall on initiation very, very hard. The track now is barely undrivable. On outer zone 3, there is now a lake forming. It is that bad. And for you guys at home, you can't see the elevations in the circuit. We walked it the other day, and we was mind blown of how much this track changes. On outer zone 2, it's actually a banked part of the circuit, so all the water is running down the circuit and forming a big puddle right where the front wheels are going to be. It's just making it very treacherous for these guys.
Absolutely, and it is a case that, of course, with drivers going out there and throwing those cars in at high speeds, if there's absolutely no grip or no way they can get around the track, it's an unfair system to send them out in conditions that literally are undrivable. So our marshals and the guys here at the Drift Masters European Championship making sure that track, and as the rain continues to fall, we are obviously getting worse and worse as it goes along. I mean, we've seen crashes, we've seen spins, we've seen incredible battles, but right now we are seeing some of the most crazy weather conditions I've ever witnessed at a drift event. We've had thunder and lightning. It's pretty sketchy up here, Ian. You know, we're kind of connected.
We're putting it all on the line ourselves.
To be fair, for once we're putting it on the line.
We're putting it on the line right now.
We are connected to all of the electrical equipment here. It's all absolutely sitting in a puddle. And if you at any point are at home online and you hear me or Ian just drop dead off the microphone, well, you're going to know what happened, because we are going to be electrocuted.
I mean, yeah, we've just seen Juha Poitalaxko make his way onto the circuit, and he's literally drove through at least 8 inches of water to make his way onto the track, and there is no grip. That guy is...
Well, here's the other thing as well that they're very conscious of. If there's that much water on the track, the chase car is going to be getting a huge amount of water, which will get sucked in by the car itself and obviously flood the engine or cause mechanical or terminal damage to the engine. That's something we don't want to see. So right now we're hearing updates from the pits. We'll let you guys know as it's happening what the call is from our marshals, but not the perfect end to the top 16 we hope for. And you know what? Even though it's so wet right now, I'm kind of intrigued to see what happens when everybody gets back out on track, because I guarantee the championship's going to be shaken up quite a bit.
Listen, the championship right now is completely open. I mean, our top 8, that's forming is just a mix of drivers that we never even see really make it past top 32 or top 16
well,
round 1.
Here's the thing, look at the stack. You've got James Dean going up against Adam Zalewski, so you've got the current Formula Drift champion going up against the current Drift Masters European champion. That's going up in the top 8. Then you've got Paweł Borkowski, the hottest new thing to hit European drifting. I said he's the next big thing to happen. He is going to have to prove himself against Grzegorz Hipki.
Yeah, second place finisher in the championship last year. So a guy that you don't want to, you want to meet, because he is a hard-fought battle.
Absolutely. Next up, then we have got Eli Hutundi. Hutundi is going to be one of the Red Bull Drift Brothers. He's into the top 8 in that E30 V8. He is going to go up against Juha Poitalaxko. So that is decided. What isn't decided is the rest of the couple of battles. So they're sitting up there waiting in their cars to see if it is possible to even run these battles. So for the moment, we want to offer you guys an apology for a lack of action here on the track at Drift Masters European Championship, but we're trying to get things back on track as soon as we can. Stay online. We're going to give you an update. We're going to go talk to our officials and our marshals, and we're going to inform you of everything that's going down. And believe me, we talked about this championship being dramatic. Well, this just takes the cake. So the rain continues to fall on the track, and we're just going to take a small moment's break for you guys at home. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to be back in action very, very shortly. And until... And we will try and get a couple of the drivers in the pits as well. Eddie Power's down there scouring for some interviews to keep you guys entertained. We're going to keep you updated in a few moments. For me and Ian, we're back in a couple of moments' time. We're going to keep you informed. Okay, so we're going to update you on what's happening. What the marshals have decided is to let each driver do a warm-up lap on the track and see if it is drivable just before we get to the next battle, to see if it's possible to get around this track. But from what I've just witnessed from Gorbalinski,
Yeah, I mean, Gorbalinski just come towards our commentary tower and went through what can only be described as a moat of water across the track. I mean, it looks like he needed a paddle boat rather than a BMW
it's
1
times
Series.
like this you need an R33 Skyline in.
Oh wow, there must be some R33 Skyline fans out there, Dave.
I apologize.
I actually own one now.
Yeah?
Yeah, I own one.
Well,
yeah.
you can sail all the way back to England from here in, because that is pretty much the only thing that's going to get you out of here. That and a Jeep. So we are waiting to see what the marshals call. We had a couple of guys onto the line. They're just going to give them a run to see if it is possible. I'm skeptical at best.
I mean, listen, like we say, safety is paramount, especially for our drivers. Like we say, we've seen them in the wall already, and that was just a light shower, and those guys were already taking it to the wall very hard.
Although, Ian, at the same time, a lot of the drivers saying they'd rather it full wet or full dry.
Yeah.
Patchy conditions were where they were really concerned. I think they're not going to be so concerned about the wet conditions right now. What they are going to be concerned about is the standing water. And of course, when you have so many elevation changes on a circuit, it's going to collect in certain areas. And that's exactly what's happening right now. We're seeing some ponds and lakes start to form.
Yeah, I mean, as they come through that front clipping point 2, which is basically on a bit of a hairpin where the trees are, we like to call it the forest section of the circuit. When you come through there is literally a band of water that runs right across the circuit. It's at least 3-4 inches deep. It's a very, very dangerous place for it to be. You know, the guys are coming through there on full throttle, looking towards the wall. It's not where you want to be putting the car. It's
no, and the thing is, you know, after the first round, you know, we were talking about saying there's only two things you can't control at a drift event, and that is the weather and the driving. And the driving has been sensational this weekend, but unfortunately, the weather not playing ball. We've had wet to dry, and right now we are in full wet. Not only full wet, we're in full flood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, listen, it rained a minute ago, and it didn't just rain, the heavens opened. So it is easing off ever so slightly here at Máriapócs.
Yeah, I think it's going to stop very abruptly. I think the sky is going to clear very abruptly. I just think it's that water, that heavy rain that's come down is going to maybe need some time to
clear.
to absorb, and also to evaporate, not absorb. I mean, I went to science in school. So it's going to evaporate, and it's then they're going to get the guys back out on track for the top 8, and some of the top 16 still left to go too.
Yeah, exactly. We've got 2 more battles in our top 16 left to go, and that will be, like you say, Pavel Korpolinski to take on Ivo Cirulis, and Bartosz Stolowski to take on Jack Shanahan. So, yeah, 2 very, very good battles. But all these guys pushing hard all weekend, and
yeah, for me though, at
the start line looks...
the start line to the first initiation point looks like just a river. So let's get a word from our marshals and judges. We'll give you an update very shortly.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it does look like our track staff here at Máriapócs, Trackwood in Hungary, are happy enough with the way that the water has left the circuit. It's drained off quite well. They're saying that they're happy for these guys to go back out into top 8 competition. So both our drivers in the battles will get one practice run each, just a solo run to get a feel of grip levels on the circuit, and then as soon as those guys have done one practice run each, they will head back to the start line, where we will see one of our last battles in top 16, which will be Paweł Korpolinski to take on Ivo Cyrilis. So it does look like we are waiting to get those cars back on the start line, and rain's still falling here at Máriapócs in Hungary. So it does look like we have one of the guys off the line, and it will be Adam Zalewski. Zalewski looking like he's going to just do a bit of a feeler run. We're going to send these guys out, as I say, just for a practice run, just to get themselves familiar with the grip levels. And as you can see, so much standing water on the circuit as Adam Zalewski now makes his way into the outer zone, and very, very tentative. Naturally not looking to take his car to the wall in just a practice run. So, as I say, we're going to let these guys get one practice run on the circuit just to build some confidence in themselves. And as soon as we got those guys confidently round a few practice runs, we will be back with action from top 16. Just 2 more battles in top 16 to go, and then we'll be back and we will start with our top 8 competition.
So Ian, it looks like we are almost ready to send cars here. What an incredible turn of events. A huge thunderstorm coming down. You can see the lake starting to form on the track. Drivers struggling incredibly out there. 2 days of semi-slick rubber laid down and now a huge amount of water. And Pavel Korpelinski and Ivo Širulis are going to have to go to war in these conditions.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the track conditions were absolutely treacherous, and our track officials and the track marshals wanted to make sure this place was safe as it could be for our competitors. And they've given us all clear. We've just watched some of these guys, like you guys watching at home, have seen how slow this circuit is now. It's completely cut the speed in half. So we're going to expect some door-on-door battles, and looks like we are ready to go with one of the last battles in our top 16. It will be Ivo Širulis to take on Pavel Korpelinski. And you know what? I mean, listen, we wanted to bring you fireworks.
So yeah, sorry Ian, as we were just waiting for
We're just trying to dry up some of our equipment, Dave. That's what it was.
We're doing our bit.
Dave was nearly getting an electric shock in the tower, and a full metal tower.
Yeah, I'm a little worried.
You're a little worried. You're worried for your safety.
And I'm a little worried for the safety of these guys on track too, because this is going to be sketchy.
Yeah, listen, like I said, we promised to bring you guys fireworks, and that is exactly what we've done. We've brought you some unpredictability right now. We've seen some of the best guys in our championship knocked out earlier in competition. Now we're seeing a complete change in weather conditions, and do you know what? I don't even know who could take it. Could we see the 2017 Drift Masters champion, Adam Zalewski, go all the way to the podium? Well, listen, we need to find out. We need to refill. We need to put 2 more people in that top 8 before we can move any further forward. So we have got Pavel Korpelinski and Ivo Širulis on the line, ready to go.
What's going to happen here, Ian? The conditions are treacherous. These guys are going to be having to demand so much talent all in a short space of time. Korpelinski to lead in Širulis into the first corner. Look at this initiation. Korpelinski coming in hot though. Will they be able to keep it out of the wall? Will be able to keep it on the track? And look at this, Širulis going for the attack from the off in these conditions.
Yeah, Širulis not holding back. He knows that even in challenging weather conditions, he's got to have the proximity. He's got to push it door on door. And look at this. Širulis now starts to make the dive as Korpelinski's car doesn't have the pace in these weather conditions. You know what? None of these cars have got the pace in these weather conditions. This is very challenging for our European drivers as they come across the line.
Well, we said they'd see it all before this year without it. Right now, they've definitely seen it all today. Scorching sun, right to thunderstorms, right to a flooded track, and our first run in the bag between Korpelinski and Širulis. And look at this, Korpelinski coming in pretty hot though in these conditions.
Yeah, I mean, not scared to throw that car sideways and sticks it to it. Just about catches the edge of that first outer zone. Good transition, but you know what? He puts in a good lead line, and it gives Ivo Širulis the opportunity to get on the door. And Ivo Širulis takes that opportunity and nails it to him. And Ivo Širulis now thinking, hey, you know what? If this is how it could go, I could find myself in the final.
Well, on a day like today, Ian, anything can happen. And a lot of those guys left in the competition will be saying, look, everybody's sort of sketchy here, and no one is confident. So I could even squeeze through here. I could get some points on the board for the rest of the championship. Širulis put in a great chase run there, and Korpelinski not getting out to that outer zone 3 whatsoever. So, I mean, the judges are going to be watching this just like they were watching in the dry, saying, yeah, it's challenging out there, guys, but you got to get to those zones. And Korpelinski now will line up in the chase position with his team saying, I don't know, man, like, you weren't perfect there, and you looked strong all weekend in the dry. Now you got to change your style. You got to go aggressive. You got to get at the door. And how do you say that to someone in these conditions?
I mean, listen, it was hard enough as it was in the dry, in 4th gear, absolutely flat, when you had all the grip you needed and the confidence that you'd had all weekend. Now you're going into the unknown. We walked on this circuit yesterday afternoon, Dave, when it had lightly showered, and we nearly slipped over on the bank. It was that slippery.
We were like a newborn deer. We were slipping around on the bank, and these guys are doing it with cars with over 700 horsepower. Širulis now will lead in Korpelinski into that first corner. And look at Širulis barely holding angle there, Ian. It's sketcy.
Yeah, Širulis nearly over-rotates. And look at Korpelinski. Korpelinski forcing some pressure right now on Ivo Širulis' E46 as they transition back into this second outer zone. Korpelinski now starts to gain some proximity, and Ivo Širulis washes way offline. Širulis not looking so confident now as he feels the pressure. Cars transition into the final outer zone.
I can't believe they're even holding it together out there, Ian, in these conditions.
Oh, they nearly won.
I think that might have been after the finish line, however, but to me, it's incredible. They're finishing runs here. So you can see on the replay here, Cerulis throws it in pretty heavy and pretty wide. It's giving Korpelinski plenty to look at there. Gets that outer zone, gets the transition. Korpelinski just trying to get back into the fight a little bit here as it goes. And look at that run from Cerulis. He's right on those outer zones. It's almost as good a run, except for that inner zone.
Yeah.
It's almost as good a run as we've seen in the dry.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. It manages to get on that zone, but he stays on it very, very long and transitions back. Doesn't manage to get all the way out to the wall. Korpelinski gives him some room to manoeuvre and then almost fires it on the rear bumper. So,
well, they're going to line up and they're going to try and get a decision from our judges, and it's a harsh way to be eliminated now after so much practice, dialing the car in all day today. It's almost going back to...
yeah, so it looks like the judges' score is in, and we are going to get the decision from our judges. Those guys heading straight off circuit, so maybe some issues with those cars. Who's going to take it? Slide them left for Ivo Cerulis, right for Pavel Korpelinski, and
Korpelinski gets the win and goes through to the top 8 in the roughest way possible. We're going to talk to our judges, guys. Conditions obviously treacherous out there. Is the judging criteria staying the same, and how did Pavel get the win?
Yeah, Dave, unfortunately we put the judging criteria down in briefing and they have to remain the same. We're still going to be looking at the qualifying line for the lead driver, and we're still looking for the chase driver to be stuck in their door, which is exactly what Pavel did. Far more proximity than Ivo had, even though both drivers did maintain that qualifying line. So Pavel getting the win overall.
So off the line, the final battle in top 16, Dave. Jack Shanahan to lead out Bartosz Stolowski.
And Bartosz, look at it. Oh, Shanahan
wow.
has a big error. Big error on initiation. Shanahan's in trouble here.
Yeah, Shanahan, big wobble on initiation, but one thing to be noted, Jack Shanahan has no windscreen wipers. Jack Shanahan...
I've just noticed that he has absolutely no way of seeing out of that car.
How is Jack Shanahan seeing right now? No windscreen wipers from Jack Shanahan. Apparently a problem with the wiper motor, but he said, I'll go out there anyway. I need to get into top 8. And Shanahan, you know what? Apart from that wobble, looking good, but Stolowski on the back bumper as they transition onto the wall and take it over the line.
You know what, with Jack Shanahan, apart from that wobble on initiation, did a pretty good job there. Stolarski in the chase doing an excellent job as well of staying with him. But how is he driving that car with no window wipers whatsoever?
I mean, listen, I'm not sure if it was a problem with a handbrake or he just misshifted, possibly. He just couldn't get on the power early enough and the car kind of wobbled.
And I'm going to let you in another secret here. We were hearing from the pits of Jack Shanahan earlier on that his rear brake calipers were sticking on. So he said he only has the handbrake. He doesn't have any front brakes on the car he can use unless it'll shut the car down to a complete stop, and no window wipers. And he's still out there fighting with Bartosz Stolarski. But Stolarski doing a great job in the chase. Yeah,
I mean, Stolarski did an absolutely perfect job on the chase. Like you say, avoiding contact on the initiation, but now we've got to swap them around. Stolarski to lead in Shanahan for the final place in top 8. Who's going to take it? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that is to send them for one more run. They get the thumbs up. They look for the green light, and they are go off the line. It is Stolarski to lead in Shanahan.
Shanahan's going for this. You can see he's taking off much further ahead of Stolarski. He knows he's had a disadvantage from the first. With no window wipers and no front brakes, he's got to go into. Look at Stolarski, though, struggling on that outside line. Goes very wide to the wall, so does Shanahan.
Yeah, Shanahan right with Stolarski, though, and now Shanahan feels in his comfort zone as he fires the car. Oh, and a big mistake from Shanahan. Transitions miles too early to try and get on the door of Stolarski's S14 and ends up way down the track. A little wobble there from Stolarski, but Shanahan with a huge error and starts to lose ground now as Stolarski accelerates away.
I mean, it's anyone's game out there right now. You throw the dice and see what happens. And I think Jack Shanahan said he was throwing the dice, but you know what? A couple of errors there on both runs won't help his cause. And so incredible stuff here from both drivers that they actually get out to those outer zones in these conditions on a banked circuit with the water running down the circuit.
I think he was right, a circus. A banked circus.
It is a banked circus. I was wrong and right.
You was right and wrong at the same time.
Exactly. That's how we're rolling. So Stolarski transitions at a good run from him in these conditions. Again, the guy's not going super wide to the edge of the circuit, and you wouldn't blame them, but there's no grip out there whatsoever. But we have to have a decision from our judges. And let's see which way it goes. It's for a spot in the top 8, last spot in the top 8. Slide him left for Stolarski, right for Shanahan. And Bartosz Stolarski gets the win and goes through to the top 8. Championship points in the bag, and Jack Shanahan eliminated. Just throwing up to you guys in the judging tower. Some errors from Shanahan there, obviously costing him the win.
Yeah, you said it there, Dave. It really all comes down to errors. Jack making far more errors than Bartosz there in that run. Having a straighten on initiation in his lead run, and also a straighten coming into outer zone 3. So basically he threw it away, unfortunately, and Bartosz gets the win.
There you have it. Move on to our next battle. You saw a little brief glimpse of it there. It is going to be James Dean against Adam Zalewski. These guys wanting to go up to against each other so badly. The current European champion, Adam Zalewski, goes up against the current US Formula Drift champion, James Dean. But they're doing it in the most unconventional way possible, in treacherous conditions. But it's still a battle. It's still championship points. But I think our marshal's saying that they may give these drivers the opportunity to get those wipers on, get those cars heated up. It looks like we're good to go. I mean, the bravery of these guys to throw it in now, Ian. And again, you can see Zalewski there. He's going to make sure that he is ready for this one. A little bit maybe mind games here, just warming some tires up again, trying to get some heat into those tires. Not easy in these conditions.
Right, okay.
So here's what we're hearing. James Dean is going to take a practice run out there again because he did not get the opportunity due to his finishing the first battle of the top 32 and top 16. He hasn't done a run in the wet yet. So Zalewski's going to practice run in the wet. James Dean has not. The marshal's saying that James Dean will get a run in the wet, then join Zalewski. So we're going to get a taster here of what James Dean is all about in the wet.
Yeah, look at this. James Dean, a master in all conditions, but certainly not feeling too confident here. Changing track conditions, saying that the water on a circuit with different surfaces not making it easy, saying that he struggles to get round. But you know what, Dave, to me, he looks on form right now.
Not looking like he's making too bad a job of this whatsoever.
You know what, listen, I didn't count James Dean in the fight at the beginning of the day. That's wrong of me, really, because he is the Formula D champion. But when he says to himself he doesn't feel confident, he doesn't feel like it's his round, you take his word for it. But he's took down some big names, and he looks very confident right there.
He looks very confident right now. And again, with that run in the bank, Zalewski's done 2 or 3 in the wet before his top 16. They both know the conditions out there. They're both prepared. And Zalewski's team will be telling him, James just killed that in the wet.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be sensational here. 18 years of age going up against the world champion. I mean, that's huge pressure.
Yeah, exactly. So we await to get James Dean back to the start line. You can see Adam Zalewski sitting on the line in that Zestino tyres, BMW E32 JZ under the bonnet.
I mean, again,
this could go anyway.
It could go either way. One small error, one tiny mistake, and you're out of competition. And it counts just as much as any other run in any other country and any other track. It's the same amount of points on the championship board. So you've got to struggle through this. You've got to get through this tough conditions, and this is where you got to shine because people are dropping off here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you say, people are dropping off, dropping like flies. But we're going to start the first battle of our top 8 as we see James Dean sitting on the line, ready to lead out Adam Zalewski for a place in the top 4.
Zalewski got both doors of the car open right now, obviously trying to not let that. So this is the windscreen is fogged on the car. That's why the windows. I mean, it's just battling everything out there now.
Every single weather condition. Yeah, listen, these guys would have had damp race suits on. They've got back into the car. They got warm, misted up the car straight away. We've all been there. We've all done it in our own road cars. And imagine driving a race car with no heaters, just windscreen wipers and some plastic windows. It's not an ideal situation. I've been there. I know you've been there, Dave. It is horrible.
This is where the true testicular fortitude comes into it, because you have to go in there as solid as you can, as committed as you can, because you go in too safe, the other guy goes in a little bit more aggressive, you lose the battle by being safe. So what do you do? If you're James Dean and Adam Zalewski, you've been in these positions before, you've been in these high intense, high risk, high reward battles, and both of these guys know the other guy's not going to lie down. I think we're going to see as competitive as if it was bone dry here, but a lot more risk.
Yeah, and they're off the line. For the first half of the battle, it is James Dean to lead in Adam Zalewski for a spot in the top 4. And look at Zalewski right on the back bumper of the 2017 Formula D champion now.
Zalewski's going for this in. He's staying with James Dean here. Look at the transition from Zalewski in the wet. Can he hold it? It's going to be an impact.
Wow.
Tags the back of Dean's car. Dean hits the wall. Oh, and Zalewski and Dean stay in it. Wow.
Yeah, look at this. James Dean, the master, absolutely keeps it. Zalewski now starts to bring back the fight again.
Oh,
and
contact
Zalewski
again, and Zalewski makes contact again with James Dean, and again with James Dean.
Wow.
James Dean gets bumped around the last few clipping zones, and you tell me these guys are holding back.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that was absolutely brilliant driving. James Dean put on a perfect lead run. Look at this from Adam Zalewski. Fires that car in with loads of confidence. Sticks it to the door. Perfect transition. Look at this. Almost takes the back bumper off. Gets back on it again, but overcooks this. You can see him overshoot it massively. Gets to the outer zone 2 way too early. Tags James Dean, pushes him nearly offline, but James Dean manages to hold it. And now this is where Zalewski starts getting aggressive, bang, smacks the back line.
I'm not even sure if that
gets
affects
on the
Dean
door
too
and
much.
gives Dean a few nudges as they come over the line.
Oh, he's getting aggressive. 18 years of age, representing Zestino Tires from Poland. We're starting to see what this kid is all about.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, we know he's the 2017 champ, and this is why this guy's not scared to stick it on the door as we await to get Zalewski to the line. It's his turn to lead now, and Dean to chase him in. You know what? I think Dean's going to repay the favour. I think he's going to be equally as aggressive.
Well, Zalewski obviously getting some maintenance there because obviously he's hitting a couple of things, most of them being James Dean.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's just getting his body work checked there before they go to the second one. If you're James Dean now, you're saying, well, what do I do next? I mean, the guy has come out and put an aggressive chase run in. He's been incredible. And I've got to go out there and do exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, for me, James Dean's going to stick it on the door. He's an absolutely brilliant chase driver. He's going to have felt that aggression from Zalewski, and he's going to want to repay the favour. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see James Dean now absolutely paint tyre marks on the side of that Zestino Tyres BMW 30. They're off the line. It's Dean to chase down Adam Zalewski for a place in the top 4.
Oh, look at James Dean throwing it in on the door, right to Adam Zalewski's left-hand side. And Dean now tries to be a little bit more cautious, but the transition is sensational.
Yeah.
Because Zalewski's almost washing up to the edge of the course, and look at James Dean starting to reel in the 2017 Drift Masters champion and stay in the fight as they come out. But Zalewski getting a bit of a run, and James Dean almost goes to the wall. James Dean makes a big error in the chase position, hangs it out too long, and Zalewski goes up and gone. What is happening right now?
What did we just witness?
It's
Dave?
like James Dean just got stuck on the outer zone and couldn't get out of there.
He couldn't get out of it. Look at this, a very aggressive initiation. Zalewski throws that car in absolutely perfect. Dean stays with him, keeps a good distance. Absolutely ridiculous transition. Almost takes the back end off of Zalewski's car.
But
Starting to get in
watch
the mix. This is where it goes wrong for James Dean. Look
James
at
Dean
this.
stays out on the outside of the circuit, and watch this. Zalewski ups and goes, and James Dean gets just hung up there a little bit and almost hits the wall. Transitions too early, straightens, and has to go back on the power again, and loses almost 5 to 6 car lengths there.
Oh, wow, could we see James Dean get knocked out in top 8 competition? Well,
I'm not too sure what way that was going to go.
We need a decision from our judges as they have a discussion about it. But it looks like they got a decision, Dave. Who's it going to be?
Who's going to go through?
The top
This
4.
one is in the air. James Dean or Adam Zalewski. Slide him left for Zalewski, slide him right for James Dean. Who is going to get the win? And there you have it. It is James Dean getting the win and going through to the final 4. Back to you guys in the tower. Talk us through it. Some sketchy moments for both drivers there.
Yeah, well, looking at the first round there, James had a really good lead run, exactly what we're looking for. Adam has great proximity up to outer zone 3, and outer zone 3 comes in and makes contact with James, upsets James' line as well, so that's points off there for Adam straight away. And again, on the transition after outer zone 4, he doesn't allow James room to transition and pulls the rear of his car off. So after the first run, with all those errors, Adam is at a deficit of 7-3 to James. So on the second run, James has really good proximity up until outer zone 4, and at this point James is 7-3 up because it's clean, and he's good proximity all the way. And he makes a little error there and drops back, and it falls back to a 5-5 at the end. But 7-3 in the first one was enough to take the win for James.
So closer than we
Do you know
thought.
what? It was so close, Dave. So close, and I even thought that James Dean was out of that battle.
Yeah, but what do we know, Ian? Okay, so next up on the line, I think this is going to be very interesting until the end here. Pavel Borkowski goes up with Grzegorz Hipki. And Grzegorz Hipki and Pavel Borkowski have looked super consistent the whole weekend, but in these conditions, how consistent can you be?
Right, for me, Grzegorz
we just saw James Dean, the former drift champion, make a huge error.
Yeah, a big error.
That shows how knife-edge it is, how easy it is here to make a big mistake.
Yeah, listen, for me, Grzegorz Hipki had the pace, the car. He was the fastest guy around here this weekend. Right now, that doesn't matter. That pace really isn't out there anymore with these track conditions as they are. But we know Pavel Borkowski beat James Dean in wet conditions, so what's he got as they come off the line?
I think this is going to be a real heavyweight encounter. They're going to have to risk it here. Look at Borkowski's on full throttle, full attack. Can he hold it?
Yeah, he can. He sends it in, and there's big separation though. But look at Hipki as he starts to dial it in now and get on the back bumper. Oh, almost makes contact with the back end of Borkowski's car. Grzegorz Hipki hunting down the side of that Quantum S14.
And look at this, equal pace, equal angle, perfect line from both drivers. Hipki almost in the wall there. as he now dives onto the door of Borkowski and almost makes contact. It is getting hot and heavy out there, Ian, in very cold conditions.
Yeah, I mean, listen, these are treacherous conditions. Look at this as they fire it in. Pavel Borkowski keeps that car absolutely pinned and very, very wide. Nice line onto the wall. Grzegorz Hipki right with him. Straightened from Hipki though on that first front initiation, front transition. Sorry, guy kind of gets it back, but for me, you know, Borkowski looks on form.
He does, and Hipke almost goes into the wall, Ian, towards the end of that. He's just
kind of got trapped where James Dean got trapped in that chase position.
No grip there whatsoever on the outside of the track. It sort of leaves you in slow-mo mode trying to get out
Trying to get out, yeah.
And he did a great job, and I think that's put the pressure massively back on Borkowski, who is an exceptional chase driver in the wet. Remember last year in Płock, he beat James Dean in the wet. He's a wet specialist.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, well, listen, we've all seen the video. He absolutely painted tyre marks all over the side of James Dean's car. So will he do the same to Grzegorz Hipki? Well, we're going to find out as Grzegorz Hipki now sits in the lead position and Pavel Borkowski makes his way to chase down the second place finisher in the 2017 Drift Masters European Championship.
There you go, Ian.
There you go.
Simple
there
as
you
that.
go, Dave. It's cold. And
Grzegorz Hipki now in the lead position. Borkowski in the chase, and Borkowski's getting left for dead here. Something's happened, Borkowski.
Yeah, this is not the usual Borkowski as he
But
fires.
Hipki's very wide.
Very, very wide indeed. He fires it in. He manages to hold on to it. Borkowski now starts to make a dive. Big straighten though as he now gains proximity. But
what's happening here? Borkowski's on the completely wrong line. He almost overtook Hipki.
Yeah, Borkowski way offline. Nearly hits the centre of the track there as Hipki pedals his way through.
What a transition by Pavel Borkowski as he stays in this. Hipki straightens and a crash after the finish. I don't know if I can take much more of this scene. This is pretty intense. It's like nervous tension here of who will survive.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's very, very difficult to say who is going to survive because it's just insane weather conditions. Anything can happen. Look at this.
I've never seen a transition. He's almost front wheel to rear wheel. He sort of says, I'm in the wrong place here.
Yeah.
I better hold the handbrake and get back on the door again. But it's a mistake by any means from Pavel Borkowski. But again, so aggressive. Look at this, but watch as they come across the finish line. Oh, it's just after the finish line. I think Hipke shuts it down. But slight contact between both drivers. I'm telling you, it's getting a little bit intense. It's starting to even get a little bit dark here, Ian, which is making it a little bit harder.
Yeah, the light's starting to fade here now. The lights are on the circuit, and you know what? Not many more places to go before we find out who we crown our second round 2 champion. So who's going to take it though? Who's going to move into the top 4? Will it be Hipke? Will it be Borkowski?
Yeah, judges having a little deliberation on this one. Of course, it's very difficult to judge in these conditions. The lights are on, as you can see here at Trackwood. Slide him left for Grzegorz Hipki. Slide him right for Pavel Borkowski. Who's going to face James Dean in the top 4? It will be Grzegorz Hipki getting the win and going through to our final 4. Bring it back to the judges quickly, guys. Bit crazy on that one.
Yeah, we see really nice battle here. Borkowski have really good lead run, and Hipki have really nice proximity behind him. But the main thing happened in the second battle, where Borkowski made really big mistake in first corner, and that decided.
Yeah, so that mistake on the first corner led to the sort of weird chasing on the second corner, and there you have it. Grzegorz Hipki, he looks pretty unstoppable. If I was James Dean right now, I'd be getting worried about Grzegorz Hipki. He looks like he's fairly unstoppable.
Yeah, so we move it along to the next battle of the day. It will be Eli Hutonji to take on Juha Poitalaxko.
Big battle here, Ian.
Very big battle. Listen, and these BMW E30s, these BMWs looking very, very strong today, but Juha Poitalaxko, listen, he's not the kind of guy you go into battle and say he's nothing. This guy...
No, and of course, if you look at horsepower figures, 900 and 650 means absolutely nothing in these conditions. So this is driver skill and ability. It's a great leveler.
Yeah,
so Eli Hutonji is going to get a practice run, and Juha Poitalaxko is going to get a practice run just to get used to these conditions. So we get a little taster of what these guys are all about. As you can see, Eli's struggling with that entry. Yeah,
that initiation just catching him out a little bit, fired it in very, very fast, and maybe too fast. You can see him just trying to get that car dialed and get a feel for the grip levels out there, which pretty much right now, Dave, are non-existent.
For sure, and now you've got the light fading and shining off the ground also. The tarmac's getting a little that glisten on it.
Yep.
These guys are going through the works. You've now got darkness, rain, flooding, high horsepower, bank corners, 2 days of semi-slicks on the track, now water on top of them. elevation changes,
Yep.
and some of the best drivers in Europe. What are you doing with your Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we didn't expect this. We expected a full dry circuit all day. It's been mixed weather conditions. We started top 32 and it was bone dry, and we thought, you know what, this is going to be a spectacular final. We didn't expect to end it this spectacularly with a thunderstorm, halt and play for a good 20 minutes.
I think there's one more sucker punch in this one left, though. I think there's something going to happen here in the next half an hour or so that we're going to look back and say that could have decided the championship when we get to the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly. So as you can see, Eli Hutonji there warming up his tyres. Both those guys getting a practice run to get a feel for the grip. As Juha Poitalaxco makes his way back to the start line to battle Eli Hutonji for a place in top 4. And it's getting dark real quick.
It's getting dark. It's wet. I think this is a survival mode now. These guys know. But then we saw it in the last couple of battles. You can't just play it safe. If you play it safe, you kind of
knock yourself out of it.
And you don't want to go home thinking, well, if I just pushed that a little bit harder, maybe I tagged the wall, but I definitely wouldn't have lost.
Yep.
I don't know, risk reward, that's what it's all about in drifting. That's what we love about this sport. It's so risk reward based, and the slightest error and you're out. That's what makes you can't take your eyes off it.
No, you can't.
Because in another race, you can make a mess up in a motor race and then say 20 laps to get yourself back into it.
Yeah.
But these guys, one even steering error, and you're out of the competition. And look at this, look at the concentration on Eli Hutonji's face in the Red Bull Drift Brothers car as he now takes on Juha Poitalaxco, the Finnish and last year's European Drift GP champion. Lot on the line here.
Yeah, look at this, Eli Hutonji staying nice and close to Juha Poitalaxco. Poitalaxco fires that car in. And these guys balancing these cars on the edge of control right now as Poitalaxco fires into outer zone. Eli Hutonji doesn't look like he has the pace for Poitalaxco. Can he start to reel him in now on this slower part of the section? You can see now both cars struggling for grip as Eli Hutonji needs to make one final dive but just can't get on the door as Poitalaxco takes them both across the line.
You got to say, though, in these conditions, to stay that close, that consistent, to be on that, that's why they're here.
Yeah.
That's why they're in the Champions League of European Drifting, the Drift Masters European Championship, because they have that ability. But that ability gets tested on circuits like this.
Yeah.
And right now you're seeing two guys out there that look, to be honest, that they're starting to get more and more comfortable with the conditions. But at the same time, Juha Poitalaxco, his car is so fast.
Very, very fast. You know what we talk about, no grip, and we talk about power doesn't make a difference. You could see there that Poitalaxco's car has got grip. He has pulled on Eli Hutonji. And Eli Hutonji, you know, that guy very, very fast. We see him put down some seriously good runs at round 1 in Płotsk. But right now...
And I think a lot of guys are going to be in the mid-pack of the championship after round 1 saying, well, the top 3 of the top 4 out of here.
Yeah.
So this is my chance to start climbing that leaderboard. We go to Riga in a couple of weeks' time, and there's a whole other level playing field.
It's a different circuit. Again, you know, none of these circuits are the same. We go to Riga, and like you say, David, it's the fastest circuit on the calendar. I mean, listen, we've gone from the slowest, most technical, to the one of the most dangerous, to the most fastest. It's just...
And then we go to a football stadium, which is completely brand newly tarmacked, and then we go to a Formula 1 circuit, and then we go to my backyard in Mondello Park in Ireland. That is a full calendar of what I would consider to be exciting, spectacular rounds, but also what the drivers, I mean, as fans, we want to see spectacular rounds. What the drivers want, though, they want that challenge.
So it does look like, from you guys watching on the live feed at home, that Juha Poitalaxco is out of the car. Do you know what I think? I think his wipers have broke.
It would seem that he sort of looked at the front windscreen of the car,
pulled the windscreen wiper up
manually, which is not how you do it.
No.
Might have to get a piece of string, Ian, and start, you know, inside the car.
And a passenger.
Yeah, to start.
So yeah, it does appear that Juha Poitalaxco was trying to find out if he had any allotted time to fix that car, which he doesn't. We don't have 5-minute rules here in the Drift Masters European Championship. So unfortunately, Juha Poitalaxco right now is in Jack Shanahan's situation where he's just gonna have to go out there and try and stick it on the door.
Ian, I can't drive out of my house without the wipers on.
Nope.
How are you gonna drive in here?
I mean, I don't even know. And not even drive here. Sideways, flat out in fourth gear, door on door.
More importantly, he's in the chase position.
Yeah, I mean...
So therefore, all the spray from Eli Hutonji's car is going to be straight up onto his windscreen. This is dangerous stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's very, very dangerous. One wrong move right now for Juha Poitalaxco, and he could end up in the wall, just like Inver Haskasap and Daniel Savak. And with a wrote-off car ready to go to round 3. Well, they're on the line. Looks like Poitalaxco is going to risk it all right now as Hutonji gives the start line marshal the thumbs up. They're off the line. It is Hutonji to lead in Poitalaxco.
anything can happen now.
So big, nice, fast transition there for Hutonji as Poitalaxco stays away from him, trying to avoid that spray now as they transition back. Poitalaxco, big straight from Poitalaxco, big handbrake drag to try and get that car back sideways again. Eli Hutonji looking good, but look at this from Poitalaxco now. He starts to stick it on the door, almost an over rotation. He keeps the car going, but Eli Hutonji powers away and starts to make a mark in the scoreboard against Juha Poitalaxco.
I don't know, Ian, that's very close.
Very close.
Poitalaxco, he had a little straighten on the transition, on the first transition. Eli Hutonji starting to look like he's feeling the conditions.
Yeah,
he's
very
feeling
much.
pretty comfortable out there.
Yeah, he looks at home right now. Look at this as he fires the car in. For me, Poitalaxco was with him all the way, but there's a big error in the middle of the circuit. As you can see, they transition onto this front clip, and he straightens massively. Has to use the handbrake to drag the car.
It's going to happen out there, Ian, when you just don't know what the grip level's like. But look, you see, almost spins your full lock to keep that car drifting, but he loses some ground and has to cut the circuit a little bit, gets back on the rear bumper of Eli Hutonji, and I think the judges are having a good talk on this one.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll wait for the decision to come in from our judges on this one. Who's going to take it through to the top four? Will it be Eli Hutonji or will it be Juha Poitalaxco? So and we'll wait for the decision to come in. Judges still holding back on this one. Waiting for it to slide. And there you go. Juha Poitalaxco, ladies and gentlemen, gets the win and goes through to the top four, taking out Eli Hutonji. Judges, a very difficult one again there for you guys.
Yeah, again, lead run, you had a really good lead run. Ellie just didn't really have the proximity. He was there or thereabouts, but not enough to take an advantage. On the second run, you had good proximity all the way, so proximity was the difference between the two, so you have over both runs.
So Juha Poitalaxco gets the win, and you know what? He has looked strong all day. He's starting to look like a real contender. We move it along. It is the last battle in our top 8, and it will be an all-Polish battle. Paweł Korpolinski goes up against Bartosz Stolarski. Am I right in saying there's 1,915 horsepower here on the track?
Yeah, you are, Dave, yeah. 1,915.
And they're going to use about 200 of it in these conditions, but that is what makes it interesting. It's not about horsepower and grip right now, it's about driver ability and keeping it together. Yeah,
exactly. Listen, it's who's got the cooler head, who's got the most experience in the rain, and who can hold it together, like you say, Dave, as they come off the line. Look at it, it's starting to get dark right now here in Hungary, as Korpolinski looks very confident, but the big dive on initiation from Stolarski now. Stolarski starting to force some pressure on Korpolinski's BMW as they transition back into the outer zone. Korpolinski falling way offline.
Yeah, Korpolinski on a very shallow line. Stolarski has to check up to try and stay in the fight. They're doing a good job here, but look at Korpolinski's in the middle of the track here, Ian, and Stolarski forced to the exterior of the track. That's going to count for the judging decisions later on. I mean, it's a little bit, you know, half dozen of one, 6 of the other, and I don't know. I mean, for me, Korpolinski's line was poor through outer zone 2.
Yeah.
He does a nice initiation here, though, like really nice handbrake drag, gets on power early. Stolarski giving plenty to look at as they come through here. But you can see left foot braking for both drivers as they transition on that first flip. But Korpolinski here snaps a little bit on that, has the handbrake again, brakes on it, but just doesn't get into that outer zone. Stolarski is forced to stay lower on the bank. Korpolinski now, look, watch this, in the middle of the circuit, not where he's supposed to be.
Yeah, very, very poor line there for Korpolinski, like you say, transitioned off the bank too early. Stolarski, though, looking strong. Can Stolarski now take down Korpolinski? Well, we're going to swap them around.
Well, remember, Stolarski taken out by James Dean at round 1, and he wants to get back in the fight. He'd love to meet him in the final later on if that's the way things were to work out.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of revenge, but Korpolinski, qualified 3rd position, still has it in the tank, and he's in the chase position now. He knows he's made some errors. This is where it gets sketchy for me, because he knows he's got to push, and the conditions aren't right for that. So he's got a risk, and that risk can end up crashing, making contact in the wall, can end up with any sort of a spin. I mean, this is, I would not like to be behind the wheel at any point of this run. Just seems so knife edge. Everyone is just risking it now to try and get on that podium.
But look at Stolarski, though, as he fires that car in. He's not scared of the wet weather conditions. Stolarski stands on the accelerator and starts to pull away, but Korpolinski now starts to find some pace. Oh, an error again from Korpolinski as Stolarski gets into the outer zone, washes way offline. Yeah, washes way offline, finds a 3rd outer zone Korpelinski giving him some room to manoeuvre as they come into the final outer zone. Stolarski way offline again. This is a scrappy battle.
Scrappy battle, Ian, you said it perfectly. That's exactly what it was. And the problem with scrappy battles is that the judges have to now decipher who is making the bigger errors. That can be very, very tricky because you've got to start, you know, adding them up and then deducting for each which is the bigger error.
Yeah.
Both making some. I mean, Stolarski, it looks like he's got this one in the bag just until they come out of outer zone 2, and he takes a much wider line than we've seen anyone else. Watch this. He stays wide on that zone, and he's way off. He's 10, 15 feet away from that clipping zone. He does get the next one, but not the right way, and Korpelinski's forced to sort of make a snappy transition there and try and do the best he can.
Yeah, and again on that final outer zone, that full outer zone, he just drops way off of it, Dave. It's not looking good right now, but looks like we do have a decision from our judges, and we wait for that to drop in. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to go? Who's going to take the final place in the top 4? Will it be Stolarski? Will it be Korpelinski? Well, Kieran, Kevin and David.
It's up to those guys and who is going to take it through. We await the decision. Stolarski and Korpelinski. Who's going to take, as you said, that final top 4 position? Judges await the scores to drop in, and there you have it. Bartosz Stolarski gets the win and goes through to our final 4. Back to you guys. Talk us through it.
Okay, we saw a really nice lead run from Pavel till the third zone. From that moment, he was starting to lose a little bit of the line, and Bartosz have really nice proximity during all the run. In second run, we saw plenty of mistakes from both cars. Pavel was slightly better there, but it was not enough to go through. That means Bartosz won this battle.
So there you have it from David Callas explaining exactly what went down. Then Ian, there were 4.
Yeah, 4 left out of 53 drivers, Dave. We started with 53 yesterday morning.
That's a lot of drivers, Ian, from a lot of countries with a lot of travel and a lot of expense and a lot of expensive cars, and we are down to the final 4. James Dean, no surprise that he's in the final 4, the current Formula Drift champion, 5-time European, 5-time Irish champion, goes up against Grzegorz Hipki. As we mentioned, one of the fastest men around this circuit, looked comfortable the whole way through the weekend. He is going to be looking, and even if you look at his picture on the screen, he looks like he wants it. He looks like he wants it. If we put that stare in James Dean's face, he'd be quaking.
He'd be quaking. Yeah, you know what? For me, I think Grzegorz Hipki right now is a problem for James Dean.
I think James Dean is struggling. I think he's also not. He's just surviving again, as everybody is. But at the same time, James Dean has got that experience in all these conditions. And Hipki, but for me, this is another huge chance. If he could take down the current, which he is right now, the current championship leader, what a statement of intent for Grzegorz Hipki. If he was to turn around and say, you know what, I beat James Dean in Hungary, in the worst conditions, he goes to Riga in a couple of weeks' time saying, I'm the man to beat.
Yeah, I'm confident, I'm fast, and yeah, exactly, I'm the man to beat. He will have a target on his back, no doubt, but right now, as you can see, Grzegorz Hipki warming up his tyres, and so is James Dean. And look at the water. You can see it absolutely hammering with rain again here at Máriapócs in Hungary.
Not ideal conditions at all, and of course there's 2 things you can't choose at a drift event. That's the weather and the driving. We're getting the driving, but unfortunately we're also getting too much weather as the rain continues to fall here, and you can see those beautiful skies are going to roll in just when we're finished, Ian, just when we don't need them.
Yeah, just for the podium. just for the podium.
We'll get some nice weather again, but James Dean wipers on. Look at that start line, it is just soaked.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is not the best weather conditions, but we are ready to go, and we have got the all clear to send these cars. As you can see on the line, it will be James Dean to lead in Grzegorz Hipki for a spot in the final fight.
Yeah, you can see our GoPro is being turned on the start line, and I want to watch some of these runs back from the top of these cars.
Yeah.
It looks very sketchy out there. Also getting pretty dark around the arena. Now visibility an issue.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, visibility an issue. Rain's now beating down on the circuit once again, but they're off the line. They're not scared to go as we wait.
Look at those conditions. How are these guys holding it together? Dean throws in. Look at Hipki, though. Massive dive from Grzegorz Hipki as he now starts to turn the screw and put it to the current Formula Drift champion. Hipki dives again. He's almost out of control in the chase, but he's right there with James Dean as James Dean grazes that outer zone wall. As Hipki now tries to get some sort of traction out of that corner. Both drivers struggling to get out of the corner, and Hipki now back on the dive again, almost makes contact with the inner wall there and stays with James Dean, and he is right there across the line. Phenomenal chase driving, phenomenal lead driving, and whatever about conditions and not seeing the smoke and not seeing full maximum attack, it is impressive that they can do this with the place just teeming with water.
Yeah, I mean, this is insane. Look at Dragos Hipke, he's absolutely on it. James Dean fires that car 90 degrees to the wall with the rear bumper, gets back in it, but look at Hipke. This is where he starts to lose some traction. James Dean now, look, stands on the accelerator a little bit earlier than Hipke, and you can see Hipke's car bouncing off the rev limiter and just doesn't get that traction. Gets the car on a shallow angle, makes a big dive across the circuit, but
yeah, almost goes to a straight in there. He just, I mean, not anticipating the grip levels on the transition there whatsoever.
Wow.
It's just a game of chess out there.
Yeah,
it really is. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I mean, it may be cold and wet here, but at the same time, you're seeing these guys being pushed beyond their limits to where they're not comfortable. You can see some of these guys do tracks anywhere in the world, and you can say they're pretty comfortable.
They're comfortable, yeah.
They're having fun out there. They're trying to be really, really close. Right now, they're just trying to survive. They're trying to get around these runs as safely as possible. You can see James Dean's car has just taken some hits from Adam Zalewski. Hipke's had both doors punched in this top 32. Anything can happen from this point on, and Hipke's now in the lead. James Dean being asked the question, are you as good as they say you are? Well, right now you're going to have to prove it.
Yeah, right now you need to prove it, James Dean, as they come off the line. Dragos Hipke absolutely screaming, and look at the separation.
Wow, Hipke's gone in. He's gone in brave. He can't hold this. He will not hold that pace, will he? He will hold that pace.
Dragos Hipke stands on the accelerator again, and you can see James Dean pedaling his car to try and catch up with the Polishman as Dragos Hipke starts to walk away with this battle, Dave.
And James is back in it now, but is it too little, too late? He's got to make a crazy transition, and he does! James Dean, pinpoint accurate, and that is the way to finish the run. Incredible. Did you see that transition?
How did he not take Hipke out? Look at this insane.
Oh, you could
look
tell.
at the pace of Hipke's car as he fires it in.
He was up to gone, and I thought he was in the wall. I thought that was too much speed to carry into that corner in these conditions, but he made it happen. Now James is panicking. He's saying, I've got to get back into this. I've got to sacrifice that outer zone. He does. Watch this. Stays shallow on the bank, cuts the corner, and tries to stay on Gregor Hipke's door. But watch this transition. I have never seen anything like this. As they transition, James Dean, there isn't a millimeter in that.
He literally rubs his back bumper on the front bumper of James Dean's car. Insane stuff.
Ask the question. Well, there's the answer, Ian.
Yeah.
Yes, he is that damn good. But is it enough? He lost so much proximity in that run. Is it enough?
Is it enough?
I honestly do not know which way this is going to go. Slide him left for Hipke. Slide him right for James Dean. It's for a spot in the final. Who's going to take it? I'm nervous right now. Which way is it going to go? And look at this! Gregor Hipke gets the win! Gregor Hipke gets the win and goes through to the final. Ian, history in the making here in Hungary. And another man in a very short list of people who have beaten James Dean is Gregor Hipke. Got to go back to you guys. Got to go back to the judges. What an upset.
Yeah, it really all comes down to proximity there. Hipke, he had a fantastic chase run in his one. James's lead line made it very easy for him, mind you, but he had a great lead chase, only falling back a little bit just after outer zone 3, but he regained that proximity again by the end of the lap. James just got completely left at the start line and really had to cut a lot of the track to regain that proximity, so he didn't get much of an advantage for that at all. Hipke just taking the win over the overall, much superior chase run.
Well,
there you go.
I told you. Did I tell you there would be a sucker punch?
A big upset, yeah.
I
a
said
big
something
upset.
would happen, and what's going to happen next?
Well,
2,000 horsepower in the rain in Hungary. Not where we want to see it, but you have Pointe Lasco goes up against Bartosz Stolarski. It is Finland versus Poland. We have one Polish driver guaranteed in the final with Gregor Hipke. Now, can Bartosz Stolarski make it an all-Polish final to replace the all-Irish final at round 1? Well, it's about to go down, but there's one man who definitely doesn't want to see that happen. It's Juha Pointe Lasco.
Yeah, but Juha Pointe Lasco off the line. You can see no traction whatsoever for Pointe Lasco as they try and gain some traction to get away. Stolarski now hunting down the back of Pointe Lasco's car, but Pointe Lasco, big aggressive flicking as he sends that car in. Has Stolarski got it?
Nice run for Pointe Lasco. Gone very wide here. Pointe Lasco getting hold of it. He can. Just about. Is he going to spin out? No, he keeps it in the game. And look at Stolarski coming for it. They both want that spot in the final against Gregor Hipke, and Stolarski's got to make it. Look at the transitions. They're risking everything here, Ian, to get into that final as the dust settles here in Hungary with the rain everywhere. It's just carnage and chaos and drama, and that's what it's all about at the Drift Masters European Championship. I'm loving this right now. It could go either way.
Any way this could go right now. Look at this from Juha Poitalexco. Fires that car in. Stolarski was asked the question, have you got what it takes? And you know what? I think he answered with a yes. Look at this. Stolarski stays with him. Sacrifices that outer zone ever so slightly. But look at the angle for Poitalexco as he comes into that second inner clip. Poitalexco got on a very nice line. But look at this transition from Stolarski. Almost overtakes him. Adjusts the car and then gets back on the quarter as they push door on door across the line.
Honestly, I can't believe they're going so hard. I mean, I thought they'd be like, look, the conditions are so bad, you know. But then you got to remember, they want to be the best in Europe.
Yep.
And if you want to be the best in Europe, if you want to consider yourself a true sportsman, it's not about winning when it's easy. It's about winning when it's hard. And today is hard. These guys are out there. Their cars are wet. They're wet. The cars are struggling to take air in. There's water going through the car. There's no grip. These tires are under pressure. The track is treacherous. That's when a true champion rises. That's when a true competitor says, in these conditions, if I can get it done, I can get it done anywhere. Well, now the question is being asked of Juha Poitalexco. Has he got what it takes to be the best? Well, we're about to find out.
Yeah, Stolarski fires it in. Poitalexco now needs to repay the favour. Oh, he fires it in very, very hard. Dials on some big angle. Does Poitalexco, and Stolarski looks very controlled. Oh, what a big error.
Look at this.
Stolarski.
Poitalexco almost got the front of the car completely chopped off, but he got away with it. Look at this, onto the door of Stolarski. A little bit of contact as he pushes the Polish driver. He almost hits the wall. Again, Juha Poitalexco. The risks these guys are taking.
Wow.
Impressive stuff from both of these drivers right now, and again, I would not like to be a judge. Who's going to make it through to the final? Well, watch this. Poitalexco's almost backwards coming in through the first zone, and almost
big error though from Poitalexco and Stolarski. Stolarski has to straighten using the handbrake, so both guys making a big error there.
But caught Poitalexco. He had to back out a little bit, but he got away with it.
Kind of upset his line as well, like you say, Dave. Poitalexco almost into the wall with the front bumper. Look at that transition.
Millimeters.
Nothing in it.
You hit that. That's the end of it.
We've seen some guys take that wall out this weekend, and it's not pretty.
And that is the end of the front of your car. And he took that risk. I suppose if there's a spot in the final up for grabs, you've got to take that risk. That's what it's all about.
The decision to come through from the judges. Who's going to be in the final against Grzegorz Hipki?
Slide him left for Stolarski, slide him right for Juha Poitalexco, who is going to the final at round 2 of the Drift Masters European Championship. It's Juha Poitalexco getting the win and going through. Incredible. Incredible. We have a Polish driver and a Finnish driver in the final, and Stolarski will battle it out with guess who?
James
Dean for 2 rounds in a row, but this time it's for 3rd place on the podium. Throw it up to you guys in the judging tower. Talk us through that one.
Yeah, if you just compare lead run to lead run there, Juha's was far cleaner and far less mistakes. Bartos going very wide on inner clip 2 and having a lot of corrections on his. And then when you switch it around then and Juha's chase run, he was far more aggressive than Bartos, maintaining proximity without having to sacrifice line. So Juha just a cleaner driver over the 2 runs and gets the win.
Impressive stuff from Juha Poitalexco, the Finnish driver, the current Drift GP European driver, European champion, is now into the final. He goes up against Grzegorz Hipki. I think that is going to be an incredible final.
Yeah, I mean, listen, these two guys are going to go hard, and we know Grzegorz Hipki is a very, very good driver. We've seen him take down James Dean. He's a very fast guy.
Do you know what? When you take down James Dean, you can't turn around and say he's not a good driver.
Yeah.
There's a very small list of guys that have done that. We don't want to focus just on James Dean, but he is the benchmark here. He is the guy that has won the US Championship, won the European Championship 5 times. If you're going to have a benchmark of what is the best, well, he's won every single championship he's ever entered. Right now, he's been knocked out. Well, not knocked out completely. He's going for a 3rd and 4th place payoff, but he's not going to be in the final. So, I mean, if you look at this, we started the championship, 2 Irish drivers in the final, James Dean and Conor Shannon. Conor, very unlucky today. Not his fault, I would imagine. So James Dean now holds it down to put an Irishman on the podium, but we will have a Polish driver and a Finnish driver on the podium. So that shows how open this contest is, how open this championship is. And first off, we will decide who will be 3rd place on the podium, whether it will be James Dean or Bartosz Stolarski. Here's what went down at round 1 if you weren't there. Stolarski and James Dean went to war. At the end of those 2 runs, it was a very, very close decision. James Dean gets the win. Stolarski protests the win and says, I'm not too sure about that. Protest denied, and there's a little heat.
Yeah.
So now they go back at it again. There's a little bit of beef there now. So they go back at it again, but this time it's not for a top 16 place.
No.
It's for a trophy. It's for the reason you come to this event. It's the reason you travel halfway across Europe. It's the reason you bring your family and your friends and your team. It's to take home something that you can put in your house and say, that was that weekend, it was worth it. And one of these guys will go home without that trophy, and that's going to make this intense.
It is. Listen, like you say, and you know what, for me, I reckon Stolarski's just sitting in that car grinning at James Dean right now saying,
I think
you didn't realise this was going to come this quick, and you didn't realise I was going to be back in the fight this quick.
He's had a little look over and said, remember me?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm back.
I'm back.
Going well.
Yeah, and he looks strong right now, does Bartosz Stolarski, in this weather. He's absolutely flying. James Dean, I'm not sure, you can't count that man out of the fight. Like you say, he is the benchmark, but a few errors in the last run, didn't look like the car had just enough pace.
Well, I mean, we always call him the machine, right? Even the machine can malfunction when a little bit of rain gets into the circuitry. So that's what's happening today. And Bartosz Stolarski, I mean, he can smell the blood in the water essentially here, which is everywhere. And he's saying, you know what, if I'm going to beat him, this is not a bad time to do it. This is a time that I can step up and say, he's not comfortable, I'm not comfortable, but if we're both on an even keel, pardon the pun again with the water reference, it's all about going out there and taking that chance. And we saw Ember Haskasap go in the wall taking that chance. We've seen Daniel Savak go in the wall today taking that chance. We've even seen Tornard and Kavia go in the wall taking chances. But right now, Stolarski's got to say, look, it's for a trophy or it's to beat James Dean. That's the decision. If he wants just the trophy, he's going to try and be calculated here. He's going to try and not make too big of an error. But if he really wants to beat James Dean, if he wants to guarantee to beat him, look at James Dean's car is crabbing across
left
the
to right.
It's absolutely, look at his, I've never seen anything like that. Warming his tires, crabbing left to right. What I'm saying is, if he wants to beat him, he's going to have to do something special. He can't go in the same run he did in the last battle. He's got to go another 10%, another 20%. He's got to find that within himself and make that decision. I'm sure his team are saying, I'm just turning the radio off. Do what you want to do. It's James Dean. What am I going to say?
I mean, what do you tell him? And at the end of the day, the only thing you can tell him is that you need to push 100%, like you say, because Bartosz is going to come with 110%. Stolarski now to lead, to chase down, James Dean for a spot on the podium. Who's going to take the third step on the podium? Will it be the machine, James Dean, or be Stolarski? Stolarski bringing the fight to the 2017 champ right now as he pushes him to the outer zone. Stolarski transitions before James Dean.
Wow, Stolarski's coming for it, and he wants that trophy, and he's right there with James Dean. He's got the pace for him. Can he hold it, James Dean?
Stolarski, big error. Big error from Stolarski. Almost shuts it down as James Dean now drives away and looks like he has this one in the bag right now.
As I said, I was just about to say James Dean, I'm not sure I'm making a similar error in the lead positioning. I'd like to see that one again on the replay. James Dean looked like he had made a similar error of over-rotation. Stolarski made a bigger error, but look at Stolarski. He's coming for the fight here, putting it right on the rear bumper of James Dean's car. Stolarski transitions before James Dean and still doesn't make contact. That's impressive. And as they come through here, watch James Dean's front wheels. He's on big angle. He's almost on 90 degrees there as they come through there. He has to make some adjustments, and Stolarski makes a bigger error in the chase position. So that looks like there's no grip there whatsoever.
No, exactly. It looked for me like Stolarski grabbed a whole load of understeer. Like we say, that oil probably still seeping out the track from yesterday. And you know what, for me, Stolarski now really in the wrong place as well to be trying to overturn any sort of deficit that he's gained.
Absolutely, I'm sure Michael Sheehan, James Dean's spotter and manager, will be on the radio saying, James, he made an error, but you've made some too. You've got to be sure of this. You've got to chase him. You've got to make sure that you get this trophy, and we go home with that. Stolarski's in the lead position now. He hasn't got much to say on this. He just cannot afford to make an error.
No, he needs to put down the best lead run he can possibly pull out of the bag and just hope to God that James Dean puts some sort of error on the board. Listen, we've seen it happen. Maybe it was a one-off. But, well, listen, we're about to find out who's got it in him. It's a red light, an amber light, and a green. It's go day
Here we go. These two guys, who's going to take home that third place trophy on the podium? Will it be James Dean? Will it be Bartosz Stolarski? They're both going for, and look at James Dean almost making contact on initiation as he now pins it to the door of Bartosz Stolarski. He knows this may be their last run of the day. It's time to put it on the line. Look at the transition.
Wow. Look at James Dean now.
Stolarski's gone. No, he holds it just about. Will he hit the wall? Just about tags it. It is on the edge stuff here, Ian, as they both try their very best to stay on this greasy surface. And James Dean loses a little bit of ground towards the end of the run, not having the same proximity. I don't even know which way this one's going to go.
Unbelievable stuff from both those guys. But yeah, James Dean losing that pace just as they come to that fourth out zone, and we're going to see a replay. Look at the initiation from James Dean. These guys sending these cars in fourth gear, absolutely pinned. into an immovable wall in treacherous conditions. Look at this from James Dean. Yeah, look, Stolarski again understeers ever so slightly on the bank. James Dean wobbles, but it's right there. It looks like Stolarski stands on the accelerator and just pulls a whole load of car lengths, and Dean just can't keep up.
Dean doesn't have the proximity, but at the same time, Stolarski has a lot of errors. So, I mean, you're going to have to weigh both of those up and see who's going to take home this third place. It's been an emotional day for both of these guys. I'm sure they're looking forward to a hot cup of soup and maybe a towel around the shoulder. But the judges are deliberating on this. And what we always say, when there's a deliberation, it means it's not as obvious a call as it may seem to us. So that means they've spotted some errors, spotted some issues through both runs. I'm thinking with James Dean on the first run, he does go on a little bit too much angle after that outer zone too. And I think we might be looking at some of that. But we can't hear them. We don't know what they're saying. They're in a different place to us. But, you know, we got some knowledge, Ian. We got some knowledge. We know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Look, we know, like you say, what's going on. And we know James Dean made some errors. But for me, in my eyes, I think Bartos made more errors. You know, we're going to see another replay, a side-by-side of both of these runs. And just look at the proximity of James Dean. But you know what? Bartos equally as keen with the proximity there.
He's got that proximity, Bartos, and watch James Dean. Just watch the angle on James Dean's car here. He's very much on 90 degrees, and I'm not too sure exactly what happened there, but again, as they come through here, Stolarski with not a lot of proximity, and James Dean with not a lot of proximity, so it's kind of...
It's a fair game. Could we see it go one more time?
It could go one more time here. There's some errors from both drivers, and they both do a fantastic job of staying in the fight. So we have got a decision. Our judges are locking it in. Let's see exactly what's about to happen. Who's going to take third step on the podium? Will it be James Dean? Will it be Bartosz Stolarski? Ireland versus Poland. Who's going to take it home? Kieran goes, oh, it's a one more time. Could we see any more drama tonight if we even tried, as it gets darker and darker here in Hungary? We got to throw it back to the judges. Guys, no separating these two warriors.
Yeah, that was as close about it as you could possibly get. Okay, both lead runs, both had fantastic runs, but both made slight mistakes coming up to outer zone 3. James slightly over-rotated, Bartos over-rotated and corrected. So both kind of forcing slight errors from the chase car there. Both chase runs are absolutely fantastic up until that outer zone, where both drivers then fell back as a result of the lead driver. Almost a mirror image of both runs, so we had to see him go one more time.
So no separate. Is this rivalry between Bartosz Stolarski and James Dean going to be the story of this year?
It just doesn't seem that James Dean can beat Stolarski.
I think right now, Ian, I mean, they've both done exceptional jobs.
Yeah.
Now they're being asked to do more. You can tell the crowd in attendance here are saying, we're probably going to see a crash, because they're going to go insane into that first corner. James Dean to lead out Bartosz Stolarski. So one more time, we will have a decision at the end of these two runs. And look at Stolarski going for it.
Yeah, but look at Dean. He's carrying some serious pace, and Stolarski can't keep with it this time. He understeers massively. Dean throws on big angles. Stolarski again transitions before James Dean as they start to push to the outer zone. Dean in that zone, absolutely perfect. Carries that big angle again, and Stolarski does the same thing again. This is where Dean pulled away last time. Now, can Stolarski stay with him as he...
Oh, what a transition!
Almost contact from Stolarski and Dean as they push door on door across the line. Stolarski bringing the fight this time.
That's a better run from Stolarski. Yes, he makes an error, but look at that proximity through the second half of the course. Ian, you've got to say, this man is bringing it tonight.
Yeah, exactly. This guy is not going down without a fight. Look at this. The pace that James Dean fires that car in is incredible. As Stolarski, again, transitions before James Dean, gets back into it, and it's absolutely perfectly timed. Dean gets into that outer zone nice and early, throws on big angle to slow the car down as he comes through that inner clip.
Watch this transition from Stolarski. Stays in it and then wham, almost takes the back end clean off James Dean's car, but doesn't leave a mark. That's going to score high with the judges.
Yeah.
Stolarski's he's presenting an amazing attempt at trying to win this third place trophy, and I've never seen someone fight so hard for it. But now James Dean's got to step it up again, and what more has the current Formula Drift champion got in the tank? Well, he's looking across saying, this guy's still here, and I'm giving it everything.
Yeah, I mean, listen, James Dean now really is going to have to stick it to the door and not give Stolarski an inch, or let him think about making a move away. James Dean last time didn't have the pace to keep up with him. Can James Dean do it? Can James Dean take the third step on the podium? Right now, he doesn't look too strong.
He's
they
got
come
to be
off the line.
exceptional. He's got to be phenomenal. He's got to be the fastest and most aggressive he's been all day. He's also got to stand up to that challenge of being the current best in the world. And look at James Dean.
Oh,
wow.
Look at this from Dean. He's door to door of Stolarski. Stolarski's on a real good line this time. No errors.
Oh, Dean hits the inside clip.
Yeah, Dean hits the inside clip and gets back into it, gets proximity again. He's a much closer proximity this time than what Stolarski is. He's not letting Stolarski get away this time, Dave. As they transition on the wall, Stolarski now starts to make that pull. This is where Stolarski drives away and comes across the line with a big separation.
Oh, interesting stuff again, Ian. Both guys leaving it all on the track here in Máriapócs in Hungary. Watch this initiation from James Dean. Mirror image of Bartosz Stolarski. Bartosz having to slow that car down quite dramatically as he takes it out to the outer zone. Both get there. And watch Dean on the transition, very shallow. Hits the cone, has to straighten back up again. But he's back on the door again as Stolarski runs that outer zone. This is where it gets a little messy. Stolarski way off that inside clip, but stays wide on it. Dean then tries to hold up, has to brake a little bit. I'm wondering will the judges look at it that way, that Stolarski not going to that inner clip cost Dean a chance of getting closer on the door. I do not know. At this point, anything could go either way. And looks like our judges are saying we have a result. Third place on the podium at round 2 of the Drift Masters European Championship. Who is going to take it home? Slide him left for Stolarski, slide him right for James Dean. Who's going to take that trophy? It's going to be James Dean taking the win. James Dean gets the win and gets third place on the podium. And we're coming back to our judges. It wasn't an easy one for both of these guys, but James Dean has done enough for you.
Yeah, another close one. Look, again, as always, James is a really good lead. Bartosz didn't really have the proximity this time for the first half of the course. He did close in near the end from outer zone 4 on. So it was like 6-4 James up to that point, and Bartosz pulled it back to a 5-5 at the end. On the second run, Bartosz lead line is okay, but James has really good proximity all the way as far as outer zone 3. At this point in, Bartosz washes very, very wide of inner zone 2, and it kind of catches James out a little bit. He has to wait to get on throttle, but Bartosz pulls a little bit of a gap there near the end, but I mean, it was too little and too late for him. James takes a big advantage on the second one.
So there you have it. You can see how much it means to James Dean. He's had a very tough day.
Yeah.
And Bartosz Stolarski is going to have to wait for another round to try and get that elusive win. But here it is, the final, the last run of the day here in Hungary. You have Point Delasco against Grzegorz Hipki, Finland versus Poland. E30 BMW versus E90 BMW. Old chassis, new chassis.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, 2JZ versus V8. Poland versus Finland. And two guys who have a lot of experience and two guys who want this win more than anything.
Yeah, listen, Grzegorz Hipki has looked unstoppable all weekend. Everybody in the paddock saying he was the guy to beat, and right now, Dave, he is the guy to beat. He looks the strongest person on the grid. Can Juha Poitalexko, the higher qualifier, take down Grzegorz Hipki?
As we wait for both drivers to be released from the line, we want to thank you for tuning in online for Drift Masters Round 2 here in Hungary. You guys have been awesome. Hit that like button if you've enjoyed the coverage. We apologize, of course, for the world because it just had a thunderstorm. There's not much we could do about it, but we try to keep spirits high, and these guys have been sensational. It's the last battle of the evening. Point Delasco to lead in Hipki, and this is for the top step on the podium.
Wow,
Point Delasco coming in. Hipki in on the door.
Hipki on the door, Dave. That is right. Look at this from Grzegorz Hipki. Point Delasco on a perfect line. But Grzegorz Hipki absolutely all over the side of the Finnish driver as they come into the outer zone now. Hipki giving Point Delasco some room and starts to make the dive again.
And look at Hipki as he starts to shoot it back in, and what a transition. But oh, and flames firing and fireworks firing across the line as I got a massive fright because the fireworks came off beside me. But incredible stuff here to celebrate the final. Point Delasco and Hipki come across the line. I was just about to say there's a misfire and you have Point Delasco's car, but it was the fireworks beside me. This is what it's all about. Going door to door, wheel to wheel with some of the best drivers from. These guys live, you know, thousands of kilometers apart, and here they are in Hungary, right in the middle, having some fun. And Hipki doing a great job in the chase.
Yeah, Hipki.
Up until
this
right
point.
about here.
Yeah.
Transitions and straightens, has to go back on it again. That's a big, big error.
Yeah, a massive error for Hipki, but you know what? Still a flawless performance right up until that point. So as we can see, we're back on the start line. Dragos Hipke warming up his tyres now. He has the opportunity to lead out Point Elasco. We know Hipke's fast. Has Point Elasco got the pace in the car to stick it to the Polishman's door? Well, they get the thumbs up. They look for a green light. Could this be the final run of the day?
And what a day it's been, Ian. An emotional roller coaster as always at Driftmasters European Championship, but this is what it's all about. 20 seconds, get the job done, and Point Elasco's lost a lot of ground here. Hipke comes in faster than anyone in the world. He's going to hit the wall.
Hipke is absolutely flying right now, David. Point Elasco stands on it and tries to hunt him down, but Dragos Hipke looks like a man possessed. But look at Point Elasco! Whoa, door on door!
Door on door as they come through the last few clipping zones. The Point Elasco's go for one massive dive! One massive dive! As fireworks fire across the track in front of the cars. What is going on right now?
Wow, crazy, crazy, crazy. Right there, look at this. Dragos Hipke stands on the accelerator and starts to drive away from Point Elasco. Point Elasco gets in it though and absolutely beasts the rest of this run. Look at this from Point Elasco. Makes a huge dive on this outer zone, tags the door, pushes Dragos Hipke through clipping point 2.
I mean, my heart was in my mouth.
Look at that transition, unbelievable.
And then fireworks fire across the track in front of the cars.
And they're pushing each other past the fireworks.
Oh, that is what this sport is all about. It's all about door-to-door action, incredible stuff. And of course, right now, we will not announce the winner until we get to the podium. It will just be whether it is a decision or a one more time. So we are officially saying we have a result, meaning we're going to the podium in the paddock. I'm going to run in there, Ian. I'm going to get the all-important piece of paper from our judges to let you know whether it's Poland or Finland that's taken the win here in Hungary. What an emotional night.
Yeah, it's been an absolutely emotional night, Dave, and what an emotional day. We said we was going to bring you something special for round 2, and we certainly did. This track here in Máriapócs in Hungary has been nothing but spectacular from the get-go. The rain beat down on the circuit, making qualifying spectacular, mixing it up for the top drivers in the paddock. And then the rain again, making the final battles in top 8 and top 16 even more dramatic. The weather conditions making this an unforgettable event, and we see some of the best from our round 1 in Płock just 2 weeks ago get knocked out of competition. Where does it leave the championship? Well, I mean, I don't even know right now. But all I can say is that when we visit Riga in Latvia in a few weeks' time, it is going to be something spectacular. So as you can see, we've got our final 4 drivers making their way around to our podium. And I can see Dave now making his way down towards the podium. Like I say, just want to thank everybody on the live feed for joining us and bearing with us with that massive weather problem that we had halfway through the day with the rain come beating down from that storm. Don't forget, hit like, hit share on the Driftmasters Grand Prix Facebook page. Hit us up on Instagram. And I'm going to hand over to Dave Egan as he makes his way to the podium to hand out the 3rd, 2nd and 1st place trophies for round 2 of Driftmasters European Championship 2018.
1-2. So what an emotional day here in Poland. I now have 2 microphones. What an emotional day here in Poland, an incredible event. I have the all-important piece of paper as we await for our drivers to make it through to the podium. Wow, rain, sun, crashes, spins, action, upsets, the championship upside down again after 1 round. And we head to Riga in a few weeks to conclude or to continue this amazing story across Europe. You can see the fans congratulating all of the drivers right now. But we still have to find out who's won this one. For you guys watching in at home, thank you for sticking with us today. It's been a tough day on the team here at Drift Masters. Unprecedented thunderstorms and weather conditions on the track, but we held it together and we made it through to the final. And those drivers that are about to head to this podium have done something sensational. They've battled through incredible adversity to be able to be here on this podium in Hungary. And as you can see, for the fans that have stuck around, they've done an amazing job. And for you watching in across the world, we're back in a couple of weeks' time for Riga, the fastest circuit of the year, the party central of Europe. And we'll hope for better weather, but equally as impressive driving. So before we announce our podium winners, I would like to congratulate our 4th place finisher, Bartosz Stolarski. And that means we announce that in 3rd position, after an incredible performance, give it up for the machine, James Dean. After an incredible final, I will now announce the driver that has finished in 2nd position. The driver that finishes in 2nd position. Will you please make some noise for Juha Pointelaxo? That means that you're winner of round 2 in Hungary. Give it up for Grzegorz Hipki! That is the end of an emotional night here in Hungary, a crazy day of weather, action, battles, and monumental upsets. The championship is completely reordered. Give it up for your finalists once again, Bartosz Stolarski, James Dean, Juha Pointelaxo, and your winner, Grzegorz Hipki! We will join you live in Riga in 3 weeks' time from us in the tower, from everybody here at the Drift Masters European Championship. Good night, God bless, we'll see you next time.